Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Fem Amaterasu is Naruto Mother Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Naruto scowled and clenched his fists tightly as the man across from him just stared at him. Like many times before, his entire body suddenly lit up like a sun. Golden chakra with black seal-like markings spread across his body. A tattered cloak formed behind him with the collar having 6 Magatama markings on it, very much like the ones around his neck, and 2 of his endmost blonde locks spiked up, resembling horns. Why don't you just give it up, Naruto? You've got nothing left. The man across from him taunted. The man had clothing like flesh. 9 tomos decorated the back of it, as well as one much larger tomo at the top that had a ripple pattern to it. 6 other tomos also went around his chest area, and he was holding a shakujo. While his left eye was purple and had a ripple-like pattern to it, his right eyes were red with 3 black tomos in it. We've already discussed this once before, Obito. Just because everyone and everything I know is gone, doesn't mean that I'll give up. I refuse to let their deaths be in vain. They were trying to stop you from completing your fucking stupid idiotic plan. And I will not stop until I draw my last breath. Naruto spat out the name as he had no desire to use it again. Naruto channeled chakra to his eyes as they changed. More specifically, they changed into his best friend's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that had been gifted to him when Sasuke had died. Humph, stubborn until the very end, huh? You are still filled with such confidence. The Jubi's second Jinchuriki gave a sick, twisted grin towards Naruto. Despite receiving Sasuke's eyes and the Ein portion of the Kyuubi's chakra from your father, you still have no chance of defeating me while I'm in control of the Jubi's power. We'll just have to see about that, won't we, huh? Naruto shot back as he got into a battle stance. Oh, you ready yet, Kurama? This could be our very last fight together, so let's not hold back anymore, Naruto announced towards his only friend left alive. The giant semi-humanoid kitsune that lives inside of him didn't need a second to think about his answer. Yeah, let's kill this bastard, but be quick about it, Naruto. As if someone signaled them to start, the 2 Jinchuriki rushed towards each other, their speed easily breaking the sound barrier. Obito thrust his shakujo towards Naruto, who countered with Sasuke's Kusanagi no Tsurugi. Normally, any object that made contact with a truth-seeking ball that was infused with senjutsu would be erased from existence. But Naruto combined Kurama's chakra, his senjutsu, and with his newly acquired Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to counter that. Naruto's left leg came flying towards Obito's chest, but said Uchiha merely blocked it with his left palm. Obito then spun around, smashing his shakujo right into Naruto's right cheek with so much force that it sent the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki sailing through the air. Naruto quickly did a flip in the air, landing on his feet as he growled, wiping the blood off his lip while Kurama's chakra healed his fractured jaw. Oh, I didn't hurt you too badly, did I, Naruto? I mean, I knew you were always weak, but this is just pitiful. Obito taunted, before slamming his shakujo cracking the ground. Naruto snarled in anger. I'll show you who's weak, you damn bastard. Obito cocked an eyebrow as he watched the ethereal form of the Kyuubi take shape around Naruto. What really caught his attention was that purple armor that started to cover it from head to toe, along with 2 giant, purple wings protruding from its back. Well, this certainly is new. To think that you covered that mode with Susanoo, the Uchiha remarked, not looking the least bit intimidated by the now draconic samurai kitsune. This is taking a lot more chakra than I expected, Naruto thought as the ethereal figure of Kurama opened its massive jaws and started gathering a large amount of negative and positive chakra until it formed a massive, purple sphere. Seeing this, Obito took the air as he gathered all of his good Adama, truth-seeking balls, to form a protective barrier around himself. Let's hope my truth-seeking ball can handle a Bijudama of that size and power? Obito thought to himself, as the black balls began to cover his entire body in a protective sphere. Naruto's Sharingan began to bleed as he infused Amaterasu into his Bijudama. Obito's eyes widened in slight fear. What the hell is he doing? He's really not trying to do something like that, is he? Obito thought to himself, not wanting to believe what this Konoha ninja was attempting. However, his eyes widened further as he saw the Bijudama accept the black flames and have the flames coat it. Naruto grinned at his achievement. To be honest, I didn't think it would work, but I'm glad it did, Naruto sheepishly thought to himself, melding the Bijudama with the flames of Amaterasu. Obito's scowl deepened as his black spheres completely covered him in a protective barrier. Naruto fired his Bijudama, which was covered in black flames. His grin widened slightly as his Bijudama that was covered in the flames of Amaterasu impacted with Obito. A large explosion appeared directly in front of Naruto, who, using his new Susanoo-clad Kurama avatar, its wings and tails encased, Naruto protecting him from the explosion. The explosion lasted for a few seconds before disappearing, and the dust eventually faded. Obito let out a groan as he lay on the ground. His left leg and most of his right arm were blown to bits. His rib cage was ripped wide open, although the Jubi's chakra was working faster to ensure its host would remain alive. "This is it, Obito," Naruto said, aiming his Kusanagi no Tsurugi down at the barely alive Uchiha. "You've taken so much from this world and all you've given it back is pain and sorrow. For that, I'm going to kill you." Naruto roared as he aimed the blade directly at Obito's heart. However, just before the sword made contact, the Uchiha's left hand shot out, grabbing the blade, stopping it with the last of his strength. Naruto scowled as he tried to force the blade down, but it didn't even budge. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw Obito's Rinnegan eye pulsed with power. "Yeah," Obito murmured as he channeled the rest of his chakra into his Rinnegan. "This is it, for the both of us. If I die, then I'm taking you down with me." "Geto art, Kuken to Jiken nowhere, outer path, crack in time and space," Obito roared out. Naruto cursed himself for not releasing his grip on his Kusanagi. Within seconds, the entire area shattered apart like a pane of glass. Naruto felt an incredible pull on his body. The last thing Naruto saw before being pulled into the darkness was Obito's body disintegrating from the side effects of this technique. Unknown location. As Naruto slowly opened up his eyes, he looked down and saw he was wearing a familiar outfit. In fact, it was the very outfit he was wearing when he returned to Konoha after his 2.5-year-long training trip with Jiraiya. Naruto looked to his left as he saw a large man with long spiky white hair tied in a ponytail laying next to him. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise. It was all he could do not to cry. There, lying directly next to him, was his sensei Jiraiya of the Sannin or Arrow Sannin. Naruto desperately wanted to hug this man, but as he could see, the sun wasn't even up yet. So Naruto decided to hug his sensei in the morning, as he decided to get a little more sleep. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto gave a soft groan as he opened his eyes, blinked a few times and sat up in ankle-deep water. He was in front of a giant gate with large steel bars. In the middle was a large piece of paper with the kanji for Fuyin, seal, on it. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise. He thought he got rid of the cage. "You have got to be kidding me? Well, I guess I might as well see how Kurama is doing?" Naruto thought aloud. Naruto walked right up to the cage and peered inside. It was rather dark. Naruto's expectancy, a gigantic kitsune with red-orange fur, 9 large tails that lazily swaying back and forth. Instead, he saw 2 large shapes. 2 of them were orange in color, and there was a small shape on top of one of the orange shapes. Naruto frowned at this. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Against his better judgment, Naruto cupped his hands around his mouth. "Kurama!" Naruto hollered into the cage. Naruto was greeted by 2 large groans, followed by a softer one. "God damn it, Naruto! I'm trying to sleep here." "Huh! What the hell is the cage doing here? I thought you got rid of it," Kurama yelled out. "I know that, Kurama. What I want to know is who else is in the cage with you?" Naruto asked in a confused tone. Kurama's eyes widened slightly as he looked towards his left, and he saw another large orange fox. The biggest difference in between himself and this other Kyuubi was it looked like a giant fox with 9 tails, no humanoid upper body, arms, hands, or rabbit ears. "This is most interesting indeed. It seems you've replaced our host, and you brought along your own pet to keep us company." A demonic female voice came out of the other fox's mouth, much to the surprise of Naruto and Kurama. "Kyomi, what's with all the noise?" A silky smooth voice came from on top of the newly named Kyomi's head. Both Naruto and Kurama followed the voice, and their jaws dropped. There on top of Kyomi's head was a beautiful woman. She had long, rich, black and blue hair which flowed down her back. She had bright pink irises with black sclerae, and pale white skin. She wore a beautiful silk, black and pink dress, that would only belong to someone in royalty. She too had slender fingers, slender arms, curvy hourglass-shaped body, F-cup-sized bust, big round juicy ass, wide hips, and slender legs. "Kairiki, it appears our host has been replaced, and to top it off he brought a pet with him as well," Kyomi spoke in a voice filled with humor. Kairiki bright pink eyes before staring down at Naruto. "Well, he doesn't look much different from our old host." Kairiki looked towards Kurama as her eyes widened. "Wow! Another Kyuubi. But he's different from you. He's completely made out of chakra. How is something like this possible?" Kurama stared at this woman. You're not human, are you? You're giving off a dark aura. What are you exactly?" Kurama asked, on both his and Naruto's behalf, because knowing his host he'd say something stupid and get them both killed. Well, it's an easy one, Chakra Fox, I'm a vampire. The entire area was silent. Kiyomi snickered at her new host's reaction. What's the matter? Boy, is it really that surprising? Kurama narrowed his eyes. That's impossible. Vampires do not exist unless. Kurama spoke in a low tone. Naruto looked at his furry partner. What is it, Kurama? Kurama gave a humorless chuckle. This may be hard for you to hear, Naruto, but I believe we're in a completely different world. That last technique that bastard Obito used on us must have thrown us through a dimensional portal, and you took over the body of this world, Naruto. And I joined you because I was sealed within you. Kurama explained, hoping that his theory was right. Naruto was silent, before giving a sigh. Well, there wasn't really much left in our world, to begin with, huh? Naruto spoke in a dead tone. Kayariki tilted her head. What do you mean by that, Naruto-kun? Naruto clenched his fists tightly as he answered. War is what happened. Some psychotic bastard was trying to recreate the Jubi, and trap the world in an infinite genjutsu. Jubi? Boy, were you dropped on your head when you were a child? There is no such thing. Kiyomi roared out. How dare this human say such a thing in her presence? Listen here, Vixen, the Jubi does exist. Me and my partner down there have been fighting its Jinchuriki. That very creature is the progenitor of all that exists in the world. A god that created countries, it has the power to swallow oceans, split the land, and carry mountains. Kurama roared in anger. Both of you stop arguing. Kayariki yells out before she sighed, rubbing her forehead. Kiyomi, I think you misheard something. They're not from this world. Maybe in their world, this Jubi existed, but in ours, it doesn't. The Queen of Darkness spoke in a calm tone. Humph. Both Kurama and Kiyomi snorted out. Naruto then looked at the gate. He frowned as he jumped up towards the seal tag, and in one motion ripped it off, revealing the spiral mechanism underneath the seal tag. Naruto focusing his chakra to his fingertips, as he pulled off his sweatshirt, pressing his fingertips into his stomach, unlocking the Hack no Fuin Shiki. What the hell do you think you're doing? Both Kiyomi and Kayariki both yelled out, thinking that their new host was committing suicide. Kurama shook his head in disappointment. He's not going to die from unlocking the gate. Did you two really not notice that there is a secondary seal keeping us inside of him? Kurama answered in an annoyed tone of voice. The two demonic queens looked at Naruto with a deadpan expression. Now I'm just surprised that we can figure that out sooner, Kayariki replied in a slightly embarrassed tone. Kiyomi scolded herself. She hated being embarrassed. It wasn't like I was worried about you or anything, boy. Kurama simply snickered at Kiyomi's reaction, to which she sent him a bone-chilling glare. The gate completely vanished as Kurama stretched his limbs before walking towards Naruto. Kayariki jumped off of Kiyomi's head as she made her way towards Naruto, who seemed to back up. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, I'm not going to suck your blood, at least not yet. Kayariki spoke in a seductive tone. Kiyomi's body began to glow bright red as it shrank down to human size. This caused Naruto to shield his eyes. As the light faded, Naruto blushed. Kiyomi had beautiful bright red crimson hair that reached her waist, blood-red eyes, brown skin, 2 fox ears poking out of her head, and sprouting out of her tailbone were 9 fox tails. She wore a red kimono with a kanji for Kyubi on her back and a gold obi. She had slender fingers, slender arms, curvy hourglass-shaped body, F-cup-sized bust, big round juicy ass, wide hips, and slender legs. So Naruto-kun, why don't you tell us where you came from? Kiyomi asked in a friendlier tone. Naruto nodded as he cleared his throat and began to tell his story. And I'm not really going to write this down. For ideas, it's basically the entire canon story minus the end. As you read earlier, Naruto's battle with Obito. Kurama helped Naruto out with the difficult parts. Needless to say, Kiyomi and Kayariki both had bewildered expressions. What? Is there really a big difference in between our worlds? Naruto asked. Kayariki chuckled. It wasn't a good chuckle, is a bad one. You have no idea how different this world is from yours. Kiyomi had a frown on her face. Apparently, this version of Naruto was able to befriend all 9 bijus, in such a short period of time. Well, how different is it? Naruto asked. Kiyomi sighed as she looked at her new host. This version of Naruto had suffered much more than the one she was accustomed to. The only reason why was he fought in the 4th Great Shinobi War. If it weren't for the war, they wouldn't even be close. Alright, I'll explain to you. The beings you spoke of, such as the Shinju, Jubi, they don't exist in this world. Hagoromo was a perverted monk, who traveled around the world tricking people out of their money. I should know, that bastard managed to trick me out of money too, and he once groped my breast. He was half human, half demon. That's how he unlocked the Rinnegan. Similar to your world, and he had 2 sons. One inherited his visual prowess, The other one inherited his physical prowess. The elder son Indra traveled down the path of righteousness and peace, while Ashura traveled down a path of destruction and chaos. While it's true their descendants were the Uchiha and Senju, the Uchiha shifted from the path of righteousness and peace to darkness and chaos, and the Senju shifted from destruction and chaos to peace and love. And for your information, Hagoromo did not create the 9 bijus, we were born through natural childbirth. I'm sure you know how a child is burst into this world. Kyomi spoke in a lecturing tone towards Naruto, and Kurama both nodded furiously. This makes absolutely no sense. My creator Hagoromo Otsutsuki wasn't perverted, he was the son of Kagaya Otsutsuki, the first human to ever possess chakra. But in this world, he is the son of some demon? Kurama thought to himself. Kaioriki then began to speak. In your world you said kamis and onis don't exist. But in this world they do. Heaven is controlled by Kami and Yami, the 2 supreme gods. Under them is the Shinigami. Can pretty much all the other gods have either been slain, or have been exiled from heaven. As for Makai, where we live, there are 4 factions. You have the Biju, which are ruled by Kyomi over here. You have myself, as I rule over the vampires, succubus, and incubus. Then you have Gina, she rules over both inigamis and werewolves. And then finally Nakama, she rules over yokais. As for the other mythical creatures that live in this world, you have dragons, phoenixes. I'm pretty sure the Leviathan is still alive, not sure. And I'm pretty sure there are some other creatures out there, just can't remember. It will come to me when I remember, Kairiki said in an unsure tone. Naruto's mind was boggled by this. You know what to think, this is all new to him. I do have a question for you, well, for the both of you actually. These 2 partners looked at each other before nodding. Okay, how good terms were you on with my counterpart? Naruto asked. The Gaki was loud and energetic, and he often used to come in here and say we owe to rent. So one day I decided to give them an offer, Kyomi said with a smirk on her face, as Kairiki had a hint of blush on her white cheeks. Naruto gave her a look at this. He asked what the offer was. The offer was simple, we would give him power, at the exchange of getting to ravage his body. Kairiki giggled pervertedly. Naruto's whole body stopped dead in its tracks. Could you please repeat that? I don't think I heard you right. Did you say ravage his body? Naruto spoke in a bewildered tone. Kairiki simply nodded. That I did, and he refused. I'm pretty sure he would have enjoyed it. Kairiki spoke in a proud tone while eyeing Naruto's body. Kyomi sighed at Kairiki's pervertedness. Please ignore her, Naruto-kun. To answer your question, our relationship with him was not good at all. He wouldn't even take any time to get to know us, he simply called us monsters and wouldn't even listen to us. I can tell that you're different, you would probably be more willing to listen to us, won't you? Naruto nodded as a sad smile spread across his face. Of course I'm willing to listen to you too, as long as you don't try anything that can harm me. In my current state I wouldn't be able to defend myself against the 2 of you. So what after we become friends, then you use our power and not acknowledge us anymore? Kyomi asked. Naruto's eyes widened at her question. What? No. Both Kyomi and Kairiki gave Naruto a somewhat surprised look. I don't abandon my friends for anything. I don't see you as power sources, I see you as my comrades, friends, or whatever you like to call it. To me, there is nothing more precious than friends, the people I hold dear. Once you find someone precious to you, you will truly become strong. I see great potential for the 3 of us to become friends, possibly even more down the road, but it's too early to tell. Naruto sagely spoke. As the 2 demonesses simply stared at him with a look up sure all. Kurama simply smirked, as no matter what would happen his host would always remain the same. Well, I'll see you guys later. It seems that it's time for me to wake up. But don't worry, I'll come and visit you very soon. Naruto spoke in a cheerful tone before leaving his mindscape. That kid yours finds a way to worm his way into people's hearts. Kurama chuckled, before looking towards Kyomi. There's something about you that's off. What do you mean, Chakra Fox? Kurama narrowed his eyes. My name is Kurama, not Chakra Fox, got it, Vixen. What I'm saying is I can sense a great sadness in you. When Kairiki mentioned that some kami exiled from heaven, Kurama asked curiously. Kairiki and Kyomi looked surprised. You can sense emotions? Kairiki spoke in a bewildered tone. Kurama stared down at the 2 demonesses. Yes, I can, it's one of my abilities. So Vixen, are you going to tell me or not? Kyomi huffed as she crossed her arms and puffed out her cheeks. Fine, you want to know? I used to be the former fox goddess Inari. I was exiled because Kami and Yami didn't like me associating with the being of Makai. And because of my friendship with Kairiki, I was exiled and turned into a demon. Kyomi spoke in a very soft, subtle tone. Kurama's eyes widened slightly, but he quickly composed himself before anyone could notice. You seriously got exiled you for that? It can be one of the dumbest reasons they exile someone. Then again, I wouldn't know, I'm just a mass of chakra given consciousness. Kurama grumbled. Kyomi and Kairiki both decided to take a nap on top of Kurama's head despite his protesting. On the outside, Naruto was positively ecstatic to see Konoha again. But inside, his heart was filled with worry and concern. Naruto knew from his arrival to this newer and strange land things would be different. But he wasn't expecting the people he knew and loved to make such a drastic change. And an example of this sudden change to the world he used to is currently standing next to him. His godfather Jiraiya is vastly different in this world compared to his original world. Since then, the training trip Jiraiya and Naruto were on was a test. Flashback. Shortly after waking up from his conversation with history tenants within his mindscape, Naruto awoke to see Jiraiya preparing some kind of food. Tears began to stream out of Naruto's eyes as he jumped and attempting to hug his perverted godfather to the ground. Iaro-senin, I'm so happy to see you again. Naruto wailed comically with a mixture of tears and snouts leaking out of his eyes and nose. This resulted in Jiraiya ass kicking Naruto in the side of the head, sending him tumbling away. This took Naruto by surprise. Jiraiya had never done this to them before. He looked up at his godfather only to see the same eyes everyone used to give him before. It was a look of hatred and disgust. It only lasted for a second, but boy, do you hurt Naruto deep down inside. Gaki, what the hell is your problem? You're acting as if I died or something? Naruto, quickly using his negative emotion sensory abilities inherited from Kurama, he sensed nothing but hatred and negative intent directed towards himself from his godfather. What the hell is this? Naruto thought in a bewildered tone. I must agree with you, Kit. Something is about him? He was never like this in our home world. He's literally oozing negative emotions towards you. I think he has something planned for you, Naruto. Be on guard around him, Kurama advised. You should listen to him, Naruto-kun. He is a very vile and disgusting man, is also the biggest pervert I've ever met since Hagoromo. And that bitch busty Hokage Tsunade has something planned for you, and I don't like it at all. Kairiki put her 2 cents into the conversation. Naruto gave a mental nod while Kyomi simply snarled at the white-haired sage. Apparently, she didn't like him either, although she didn't voice her opinion. Flashback. Kai. Ever since that day, Naruto has been extra weary of his perverted godfather, and could only wonder how different everyone else was in this world. Naruto Uzumaki knew he was going to experience a lot of things that are not pleasant. During the training trip around the nations, Jiraiya hadn't taught Naruto much other than chakra control, a few jutsu, and teaching him to control the Kyuubi no Yoko power. Naruto had no problems working with either of his tenets over the course of these 2 long years. And while Jiraiya failed to teach him anything, Kurama and Naruto focused on his chakra abilities, refining his chakra control, elemental manipulation, taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, dojutsu, and some bukijutsu. With the combination of his Kage Bunshin and Kurama's aid, Naruto was able to gain some other skills he did not train in originally. And thanks to Kurama being such a hard-ass during his training he took while Jiraiya spied on girls in the hot springs, Naruto's mental capabilities had become sharper. Granted, he wasn't the sharpest kunai in the box, but wasn't the dullest. Thanks to a combination of playing shogi, reading, and many hours of ungodly studying, Naruto were able to spot and notice small details he would normally dismiss. He was also able to recall small details and notice his sensory abilities have gotten better. His sensory abilities gotten sharper thanks to Naruto continuously training with his abilities. To the point, Naruto can passively use his negative emotion sensing as well as his regular chakra sensor abilities. He also practiced his Fuinjutsu when Jiraiya again wasn't around. He wasn't a master, but he was a far cry from being a rookie. Being half Uzumaki had its benefits, honestly, which proved to be true when he was training with his base Sharingan and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Sasuke's Sharingan and his Eternal Sharingan. Due to him not being originally an Uchiha, the dojutsu drains twice as much chakra to use. But Naruto already had large chakra reserves since birth, plus with Kurama, Kyomi, and Kairiki within him, his chakra levels by themselves were at least low Biju level. Plus, due to him host a vampire, a kitsune, and Biju, Naruto's physical abilities have also increased just at their base without chakra enhancing those abilities. His condition, contaminant immunity, health, marksmanship, agility, athleticism, awareness, balance, cells, combat, dexterity, durability, endurance, flexibility, instincts, reflexes, regenerative healing factor, senses, speed, stamina, and strength were all enhanced by being host to these 3 powerful beings. I.E. Enhanced Condition Superpower Wiki. Also, Naruto had Kairiki, Kyomi, and Kurama apply gravity training seal, resistance training seal, and chakra training seal to his body. So when the time came, he could release these seals in order to buff himself for a period of time. This would allow him to fight just slightly longer if he ever needed to remove his restraints. And for 2.5 years Naruto had trained himself to the bone, all the while trying not to tip Jiraiya something wasn't right. Shockingly, Naruto didn't have to do much to fool the Sannin. Sure, there were moments Jiraiya was suspicious of Naruto, but he never acted on those suspicions, as the man just saw it as Naruto being his dumbass self. For being a Sannin, Naruto compared this Jiraiya to the godfather he loved and knew, and noticed several things. One, this Jiraiya, while strong, was slow to notice that Naruto is slowly getting stronger each passing day. Naruto also noticed whenever he was in trouble, or in a sticky spot, Jiraiya would also flash this look of hatred and anger. As if he is annoyed by the whole trip, but kept up this whole charade of teaching him throughout the elemental nations. While Naruto was still his goofy self, he can become much more serious, calm, collected, when he knew there was no holding back. His fighting style was still unorthodox, and his taijutsu style random. But that is what Naruto favors. While he was stronger and had more time to grow, he still retained some of his core personality. He was just a bit more careful and thought some things were tough. Some things, others, he still rushed ahead without some form of plan, coming up with a plan on the fly. Other than hiding his overall abilities, Naruto decided to change his outfit, much to his dismay and utter joy to Kairiki, Kyomi, and Kurama. Naruto now wears black cargo umbu pants that are tucked into his mid-calf combat umbu boots that have shin protectors attached to them. For his undershirt, Naruto wore a black mesh armor shirt with a burnt orange muscle shirt, and a thin black sleeveless vest. Over that, Naruto wore a black leather jacket with the Uzumaki symbol on the back. Tied around his forehead is his black cloth forehead protector. I can't believe it's been about 2.5 years, Naruto said, playing his part perfectly. Indeed, was all Jiraiya said, as he kept a neutral expression on his face. Naruto mentally rolled his eyes as the man sucked at acting. Hell, he couldn't even hide his emotions that well. Naruto dropped his backpack to the ground as he ran up the side of a telephone pole. I miss this place. It hasn't changed one bit. Naruto howled. Exactly the same as my world, so far nothing too different. Erosenin seems to be more like the people of this village than the kind, caring, perverted old sage I remember? Naruto sadly thought to himself. You've grown a lot, haven't you, Naruto? A lazy voice spoke from behind Naruto. Naruto turned around as he saw Kakashi. Naruto stared at him for a second, as he got the same negative emotions he got from Jiraiya he was now getting from Kakashi. This made Naruto's 3 tenets narrow their eyes. Yo! Kakashi said as he gave a salute to Naruto. Naruto decided to play along, as he smiled and gave his usual stupid grin. Kakashi-sensei. Haha. You haven't changed at all. Naruto laughs as he jumped from the telephone call to the rooftop where Kakashi was currently sitting. Just like in his original timeline, Naruto gave Kakashi the Ika Ika Tactics novel that he received from Jiraiya as a gift. Kakashi negative emotions that he once held vanished, he began to physically shake. This is the latest in the Ika Ika series after 3 years. It's really boring, but you'll still like, I think? Naruto said. Down the ground, Jiraiya huffed, as he pouted childishly. Idiot! A gaki like you wouldn't understand the beauty of that book. It's still an unreleased rare item to Jiraiya thought to himself. Naruto wandered off as his next destination was Ichiraku Ramen. Maybe some good old ramen would be able to clear his mind and help him deal with this stress. Both Jiraiya and Kakashi stopped as they watched Naruto wander off. As promised, I'll let Naruto back into your care. Kakashi glanced towards the Gamma Sannin but didn't reply. I fear that the Akatsuki has been growing impatient, and they may attempt to come from Naruto soon. I'm going to head around and gather as much information as I possibly can. You know, Kushina and Minato would be very angry if we allowed him to be captured before you turn them into a weapon, Jiraiya said in a cold, uncaring tone. You know, Jiraiya-sama, don't you think it's unfair to Naruto that we're going to turn them into a mindless drone? I understand it's for the good of the village, but I can't help but feel sorry for him when he finds out the truth, Kakashi said in a sincere tone, which obviously didn't match his facial expression nor his emotions. With Naruto quietly made his way through Konoha. It was exactly the same. They didn't treat them like a hero, they treated him like a wild animal that needs to be put down. He didn't let it bother him. It's just like old times, Hakit, where everyone in the village hates your guts and believes that you were me. Or in this case, you are the vixen Kyomi, Kurama said in a humorous tone, attempting to lighten the mood slightly. Naruto mentally sighed and ignoring Kurama's crude comment, as well as ignoring Kiyomi's complaining. Naruto continued walking until he came across a familiar pink-haired girl. Sakura? Naruto thought, before using his negative emotion sensory abilities. He sensed no negative emotions coming from her, although Tsunade, who was standing directly next to Sakura, was the same as Jiraiya and Kakashi. What the hell is wrong with them? What'd I do in this world to make them hate me so much? Naruto complained. Who the hell knows, Kit? Kurama replied. I really don't know, Naruto-kun. Kiyomi spoke as she narrowed her eyes at Tsunade. She may have not been able to sense negative emotions, but she was good at reading in between the lines. She was the former fox goddess, after all. Perhaps they plan to use you as a weapon of some sort in the future? Kayariki hypothesizes. If that's the case, then I'm going to have to train even harder in order to protect myself from them. I really hope you're wrong on this one, Kayariki-chan, I really hope you're wrong. Naruto replied to the vampire queen, in a voice filled with emotion. Kurama, Kiyomi, and Kayariki all couldn't help but feel sorry for their host. The reunion in between teammates went as Naruto remembered. Sakura was happy to see him. He was also happy to see Sakura as well. How do I look? Do I look more like a woman now? Sakura said in a cute tone, making a pose to appear more womanly. Naruto could only mentally scream in horror as Kurama started laughing his ass off. 2 years with a former goddess and vampire queen had done a lot on Naruto's outlook on women. That being, he has long gotten over his childish crush on Sakura. Unlike what Naruto originally said in his own timeline, Naruto didn't feel like getting punched right now. So he decided to lie, in order to save himself from getting punched. Putting on his usual foxy grin. You look adorable. You're on your way to becoming a fine woman, Sakura-chan. Naruto spoke in a cheerful tone. That comment took everyone by surprise as they were expecting Naruto to say something stupid. Damn, where the hell did this come from? This isn't the same Gaki I've been traveling around with the last 2.5 years. Jiraiya thought as he narrowed his eyes. Sakura, giving over shock, realized Naruto was much taller than her. Indeed, Naruto is much taller. Kiyomi and Kayariki had altered his DNA slightly. So Naruto, instead of being 5.4, he now stood at 5.11, which was above average height for 16-year-old, well, rather 17-year-old. You've gotten taller than me? Naruto couldn't help but smirk. Yes, indeed I did, Naruto spoke before he winced, as Kurama began yelling at him. You baka! Are supposedly blending and figuring out information, not trying to make everyone suspicious. Kurama yelled. Time skip, training field. Naruto sat patiently in training field number 7, awaiting the arrival of his tardy sensei Kakashi. Naruto mindlessly played with his kunai, sat under a tree within the shade. Sakura stood still under the same tree with her hands folded in front of her, waiting patiently for the same tardy person. The tension between the two shinobi wasn't noticed by the whiskered hero. He had a face that was lost in thought. Sakura took notice of Naruto's silence, which made her wonder what had happened during the training trip. Maybe he has finally grown up. Sakura thought positively, hoping Naruto finally given up on the pointless chasing her. She was in love with Sasuke and he was the only one for her. Sakura's facial expression took on a dreamy look as she had thoughts about the duck-ass hair emo. Naruto felt he was being watched by some Umbu teams with his passive sensor abilities, though he never made an outward sign of being aware of them. Naruto knew very well that maybe he should leave this village. He had a gut feeling he wasn't safe in this village anymore, which is alien and foreign to the whiskered shinobi. He had this bone-chilling feeling ever since he stepped into the village that something was very wrong. Call it paranoia or whatever you will, but something is off. But Naruto knew from the emotions he was sensing and the fact he was being watched, something was up. Of course, Naruto knew with this upcoming test he would have to beast Kakashi without tipping off his skills are greater than Jiraiya's knowledge on his abilities. But the problem is, what are the differences between his old lazy sensei and this one? They both like Ika, and they both wear the same clothing. Their personalities are vastly different, as Naruto knew from his passive sensing abilities. With all of his chakra, physical, and mental abilities pushed to their limits with his training, Naruto had no safe place to train alone compared to when Naruto was traveling with Jiraiya. Now he had to solely train within his mindscape, which will not be a problem. Unless he magically finds some way to use Kamui, Naruto would lose out on the physical aspects of his training. But there is nothing much he can do. He doesn't trust this Jiraiya, Kakashi, and the others are suspicious. Plus the fact he has Umbu watching him. Yeah, it only further proves something is up. Naruto and the three Tenet had theories. None of them are pleasant to think about all that much. Yawning a bit, Naruto decided to enter into his mindscape as his physical body took a nap. This would allow him to rest and chat with his 3 tenants. But it's also better waiting for 2 hours for a critically late sensei. Naruto's mindscape. In Naruto's mindscape had changed drastically since arriving this new strange world. It greatly resembled a royal throne room. At the end of the room had 3 throne chairs and the giant pillow, which Kurama would usually be found sleeping on. Over the 2.5 years, Naruto has been traveling and training. His relationship with his 3 tenants had increased greatly. Naruto's relationship with Kurama had increased from partners to a brotherly bond. Naruto and Kiyomi were on very friendly terms, although she would never admit it. She's kind of a tsundere. Naruto and Kairiki relationship was you'll be better if you guess for yourself. Let's just say Naruto was no means a virgin anymore after the Blood Moon night. The moment Naruto walked into the throne room, he soon found himself fighting to breathe as his vision went black. His head was in between 2 large masses of flesh, and he could hear the very slow and gentle heartbeat of the Queen of Vampires. Contrary to popular belief, vampires did, in fact, have a heartbeat and were alive in a sense. While they are indeed immortal in some form that makes them very tough to kill. Especially so in Kairiki's case as Queen of Vampires, and none of the normal vampire weakness work on her. Oh, Naruto-kun, I'm so happy to see you. Oh, please stop moving around so much, your breath is so hot, it's making me all hot and bothered. Ayahawk. Kairiki moaned out before Naruto finally gathered the necessary strength to break her hold on him. Naruto blushed madly as he gasped to fill his lungs back up with air. Kairiki had a faint blush and a naughty sultry smile as Naruto's hands were firmly placed on her massive soft gentle globes of flesh. Naruto, noticing where his hands are, blushed madly and took off his hand like it was touching a hot coal. Sorry, Kairiki-hime. Naruto apologized to the queen, which caused her to giggle. It's okay, Naruto-kun, I don't mind you touching my body. After what you did to me, I want you to touch me all over, Kairiki said with a perverted smile, and a small drop of blood leaked out her nose. Kairiki rubbed her thighs together, remembering that night. Kiyomi could only blush wildly as memories flooded back to her mind. She wasn't able to get any sleep with the Uzumaki and Queen going at it. Naruto's body was completely flushed as he became redder than a cherry. As amusing it is to watch my Ototo get teased by his mate/lover, I think more important matters are at hand. Kurama spoke, amused as his Ototo tried to suppress his hormones. Aniki! Me and Kairiki aren't even married yet, Naruto yelled out in embarrassment. A playful giggle could be heard from Kairiki as she went behind Naruto and hugged him from behind. Her massive breast and amazing figure pressed against her king. Oh, Naruto-kun, that's why I love you. You're so kind and gentle with me. But Kurama-san is right, we have to up your training tonight, darling, Kairiki said as she caresses her lover's cheek. Naruto slightly blushed at the feeling of Kairiki's body pressed against his. But he nodded in agreement. Naruto, have you thought about Kairiki's offer? Kiyomi asked, trying to get the 2 lovebirds to stop being so lewd. She wanted to go with serious topics so she wasn't so embarrassed by her host and best friend. AKA she is channeling her inner tsundere. Kurama is just a mass of potent primal chakra given form. He never understood the purpose of reproduction. Bija had no need to reproduce due to the fact, well, they were immortal. He doesn't have a defining gender like Kiyomi, Naruto, or Kairiki does. Naruto blinked confused for a moment before making an O face. Kairiki had a different reaction altogether as her eye lit up with joy thinking about her offer. She really wanted for Naruto to accept her offer. Even if Naruto's aging has slowed down to a crawl thanks to Kurama's Biju chakra, Naruto's Uzumaki vitality/life force, and his healing factor, Naruto's lifespan was only increased to about 300 to 400 years at most if he conserves his chakra and powers. Even as a half Uzumaki, Naruto's life force and potent chakra is stronger than a full-blooded Uzumaki. The said could be said about Naruto's chakra chains, an ability Naruto had unlocked due to Kurama's intense training. If everything goes south, then I am without a doubt taking Kairiki-hime's offer, Naruto said with his arms crossed and a calm collect aura around him. Sounds like a plan. You still have a ways to go before you can match a Hokage without any sorta extra power-ups or abilities, Kurama said, laying on his paw. Which is why I am depending on you guys to help me reach that point. While can easily defeat Kakashi alone, I want to do it without any added power-ups or abilities. Just me and the base of my skills, Naruto said with a smile and a confident smirk. Kairiki kissed Naruto's cheek and holds him tight. Just make sure you're safe and sound, Koi. We are here for you if you ever need us, the queen said in a soft, loving voice, making Naruto blush faintly. Nodding at the queen's request, Kairiki given Naruto a brilliant warm smile. Thanks, Kairiki-hime, Naruto said with a gentle smile as he kissed her forehead. Naruto, it's time to wake up, Kyomi said with a calm tone. Her blush still hasn't fully faded. Vixen is right, that Kakashi is approaching, Kurama said, knowing full well that this man coming to test Naruto isn't to be trusted. Back to reality. Just as Naruto was about to open his eyes, he felt a large amount of force hit them in the head. Groaning, Naruto rubbed his head, opening up his tear-filled eyes. His clear vanished as a look of pure surprise was clearly visible on his face. There, standing directly before him, was his ex-best friend Sasuke Uchiha. What the fuck? Naruto mentally screamed, much to the dismay of his three tenants. What the hell is wrong with you, dope? What's with that look? You're acting as if you haven't seen me in years. Sasuke spoke in a confused tone of voice. You're supposed to be with Orochimaru, Naruto yelled, pointing a finger at Sasuke. Sasuke cocked an eyebrow. Oh, that I guess you didn't hear. You're still such an idiot. I killed him and absorbed his power. Wasn't much, but it gave me a boost. I have returned back to Konoha because it was a mission given to me by Tsunade herself, Sasuke explained in a calm tone of voice. I call bullshit on that. Naruto mentally threw a fit. Kurama nodded in agreement, knowing there are few techniques that allow one to absorb someone's power. And normally those abilities are solely related to the Rinnegan, Kekkei Genkai, or a clan's secret technique. Uchihas as a whole were only able to copy someone's styles, jutsu. They are not able to absorb the powers of others, use Kekkei Genkai abilities, or use abilities they themselves couldn't use. There was a limit to the Sharingan after all. Therefore, this caught Kurama's attention. Naruto and Kurama both wondered what the snake Sannin of this world was capable of. Kakashi and Sakura simply stared at the duo. This makes absolutely no sense. I can tell from his emotions is not lying. Every time I think I figured out this world, something even more fucked up happens. What's going to happen next? I find out the Akatsuki are the good guys and sent someone into the village to help me escape. Naruto wailed comically in thought. I must agree with you, Otuto. I suggest you consider leaving this village as soon as possible. I don't like it here. The amount of negative emotions I'm getting from everyone is sickening. Kurama growled in response. Kurama was starting to worry about his Otuto's safety. Yes, I must agree with Kurama as well, Naruto-kun. They are planning something and it can happen eventually. By then you will need to be long gone from this place. It isn't safe for you anymore. Kairiki spoke in a worried tone for her lover. Yeah guys, maybe you're right. It just hurts knowing that everyone I knew before are so different. Naruto mentally replied as a sad tone could be heard. Naruto, if you do leave this place, I suggest you go to Mount Ryosengoku. You said you want to learn Senjutsu, correct? Then should learn Senjutsu from Akalogia the Dragon King. His power rivals that of Kurama's. He should be able to help you in this endeavor and with whatever these people are planning. Kyomi suggested in a serious tone. Where can I meet him then, Kyomi-hime? Naruto mentally asked as he felt Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Shizen all converging to one location. He honestly hopes Shizen isn't the same as Tsunade. She was like his older sister/crush back in his home world. You will have to travel to the far into the land of wind, where no normal human can possibly survive, Kyomi said, thinking of where Akalogia might be. There were numerous temples the dragons own, but they preferred to stay far away from any human. The dragon clan would be great to aid Naruto in his dilemma. Also, as a random side note, much to Naruto's surprise, he found out that Kyomi was much weaker than Kurama in terms of raw power, and techniques and abilities. Kyomi was 3 times weaker than Kurama, if not more, in terms of raw power. Kairiki was right around the same level as Kyomi. Alright, when I leave I'll definitely go there. Because as long as I have the Toad contract, that pervert Jiraiya can track me down, Naruto replied. Kurama became curious as he remembered Naruto did sign the Toad contract in their original world. But did the former Naruto sign the same contract? After his Naruto overwritten this world's Naruto existence, the old Naruto from this world would cease to exist. So would the summoning contract still apply, or would Naruto's name not appear on it? Or did this world Jiraiya not allow Naruto to sign the contract? Naruto did not try summoning anything during the training trip. It's a theory he will have to confirm. Wait, Naruto's name will be removed once he dies. So all Naruto has to do is take up Kyotiki's offer as soon Naruto gets enough distance between him and the village. He will die, but only a few seconds. That will be enough to remove his name, and be sure that can't summon him back. Kurama thought to himself, as he thought up a place Kairiki can fulfill her offer. Kakashi stepped forward and putting his Ika tactics away, before pulling out a pair of bells. You 3 know the rules, come at me with the intent to kill. Because if you don't you won't get these bells from me, Kakashi announced. Naruto took a calming breath as he got into a fighting stance, as did Sasuke. Sakura was fawning over Sasuke. She completely forgotten everything Tsunade taught her the moment Sasuke came back. Naruto felt Tsunade, Shizen, and Jiraiya all standing near each other. I should make some clones and scatter them around the area. If I can get at least one to spy on their conversation, I may be able to pick up what they have been hiding. Naruto thought as he nodded, coming up with a plan. Careful, Otsuto, this a dangerous game you're playing. Make sure to hide a shadow within a shadow. Kurama spoke to Naruto as the whiskered Jinchuriki smirked confidently. A shadow hidden within another shadow? Kyomi and Kairiki bow the thought to themselves. Off in the distance next to some trees, we find Tsunade, Shizen, and Jiraiya sitting down about to watch the Team 7 fight against their sensei after 2.5 years of training. Jiraiya grinned. I kinda feel bad for him. Kakashi was instructed to attack him specifically by them. Jiraiya thought sinisterly. Unaware Naruto could feel the sinister emotions coming off the Toad Sage. Kurama growled protectively as Kairiki had her fangs extend, her vampire instincts kicking to protect her lover. While Naruto was on par with a Jounin shinobi right now without any sort of power-ups, she knew he would need her help to become stronger. This is what her offer is for, to make her lover stronger than most can dream. Kage Bunshin. Naruto summoned 4 clones as they all scattered. Each clone had a task in mind. Sasuke and Sakura sprung into action as the more experienced shinobi watched the battle test with a critical eye. They were however clued on one whiskered blonde, unaware a small animal climbed on the branch behind them. The small animal was a fly, barely noticeable even by some other the most experienced shinobi. Due to the size, it would be almost impossible to spot on a tree limb. Kakashi raised his forehead protector, revealing his Sharingan. So Minato-sensei and Kushina-sama wish for me to test their son and see if is ready. I don't know the scene this useless Gaki? He has no talent whatsoever, he can barely utilize the Rasengan. Kakashi thought to himself in a bored manner. Why do I have a bad feeling when he looked in my direction? A whiskered shinobi thought as he slipped into a lazier stance. Sakura immediately jumped into action, leaping into the air and coming down fast and hard, slamming your fist into the ground. That very punch not only destroyed the training field but also sent tremors throughout the area. Kakashi and Sasuke were sporting terrified expressions, while Naruto had a fake terrified expression. Humph. She's just as strong as she was in our home world. Kurama grumbled, thinking of all the times he had to heal his Ototo, because of that pink-haired banshee bitch. Kairiki did not like this pink-haired girl, because how much she hurt her lover. Kyomi could care less about this girl. Yeah, at least that hasn't changed. But let's hope that she's still the same. Maybe I can get her and Sasuke to help me? Naruto thought to himself. No! I will not allow you to work with those savages. Kairiki howled, as Naruto winced in response. Besides not letting the duck ass and banshee bitch help you. Does Sakura seem slightly different from you, old world Naruto-kun? Kyomi asked as Naruto used his passive sensor abilities, and noticed Sakura's chakra levels were indeed different. Yeah, she is different compared to the Sakura I knew, I just need to figure out how, Naruto said while paying attention to the task. Jiraiya from up in his tree couldn't help but shiver. Great, not another one. With that monstrous strength and power, and if I'm not mistaken she's a genjutsu user, which makes it even more dangerous than Tsunade. Jiraiya wailed and thought. Tsunade simply smirked at her student. Kakashi thought along the same lines as Jiraiya, he had to be careful around Sakura. Then there's Sasuke, whom he had no idea how much he learned while training under Orochimaru. She focuses as much chakra as she can into her fist, and releases it at once. It's because she has perfect chakra control. If she didn't, she wouldn't be able to do this. Medical techniques combined with amazing strength, and to top it all off she's a genjutsu user, which increases her danger level greatly. Kakashi thought to himself. Katon, Gokaki no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Fireball Technique. Kakashi's eyes widened as he avoided a large ball of fire. Turning around he saw Sasuke. Sasuke then unleashed a barrage of much smaller fireballs. What they lacked in power they made up for in speed. Futon, Atsugai, Wind Release, Pressure Damage. Not just Kakashi, but Jiraiya, Tsunade, and even Shizen all sporting looks of disbelief and horror. As they saw above them, Naruto released a large sphere of compressed air. Upon impact, the compressed sphere of air completely destroyed and blew away the entire training field. Kairiki sported a lustful expression seeing how powerful Naruto is with just one jutsu. Kyomi only could face palm at Naruto's forgetfulness. Whoa, note, my jutsu have double in power. I didn't even add that much chakra? Naruto thought, smiling a bit. But he heard Kurama yell at him. What the hell, Ototo? When I told you to use a technique, I didn't mean blow away the entire training field. Are you trying to get yourself caught? Do you want to get yourself killed? Kurama yelled at his host. Oops, Naruto replied sheepishly. Oops? You call this an oops? You're literally destroyed your training field and that's all you have to say. Kyomi scolded her host. I'm sorry, I got a little too excited, plus I did hold back while unleashing the jutsu. I guess the potency of my chakra affected how powerful my jutsu really are. But should think of an excuse to get myself out of trouble. Naruto replied back with a sheepish expression. Naruto-kun, if you get excited, come and find me and I'll take care of for you. Because I had no intention of handing you over to these savages. Kairiki replied in an annoyed tone of voice. Naruto put his head down in shame. Naruto returned to the land of the living, only to see his sensei and teammates staring at him with fear in their eyes. Naruto had not realized how much more powerful his techniques had become. Granted, he didn't have a whole lot of time to train on the outside. Perhaps it had to do with all the extra power he gained from his original world. Naruto gained far more than just the other portion of Kurama or Sasuke's Sharingan from his world. Naruto also possesses portions of the other 8 Biju's chakra, and in layman's terms that made him a pseudo-Jubi Jinchuriki. Naruto gained unique abilities for each tailed beast chakra portion: magnetic force, blue flame generation, coral growth, lava manipulation, steam generation, poison and acid creation, scale powder, and ink creation. The potency of his chakra and quality of it had more than double, and his life force as an Uzumaki had received the same effect. It's another reason his aging was slowed to a crawl and his regenerative healing factor allowed him to survive harsher treatment. Plus, with all the chakra control training, it only added to Naruto's already impressive power. Kakashi felt his legs shaking. Jesus fucking Christ. What kind of monster has he become? Damn it, Jiraiya-sama, I thought you were only supposed to teaching the basics, not teach him advanced shit like this. Kakashi mentally complained, as he had no desire to fight against Naruto now. Dope, what the hell was that? Sasuke yelled at the dumbass blonde teammate of his. Naruto showed a sheepish expression and chuckled a bit. Sorry everyone, that was a jutsu given to me by Ero-sennin. Naruto chuckled, knowing the perfect way to throw off suspicion. Bullshit, Jiraiya thought. Baka, why would Jiraiya-sama give you such a powerful ninjutsu? Sakura scolded. Naruto blinked with a confused look before he made an O face. Playing his part was becoming a bit too easy around everyone. Well, he was drunk, got beaten by a bunch of angry naked women, and he threw me a scroll containing a few jutsu. He told me to train in them till I could destroy a whole training field. And it took me a while to get the jutsu down, Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. Reaching into his shuriken pouch, Naruto pulled out the small scroll that Jiraiya gave him. This was to prove a point, but also remind the Toad Sannin where he got the jutsu. Jiraiya, however, looked at the scroll as memories of his drunken state did resurface. Slapping himself at his stupidity, Jiraiya made a mental note to never get drunk around Naruto again. Naruto heard a loud smack as he just figured Tsunade hit Jiraiya over the head, rather heard. Naruto looked over his teammates and Sensei as they still had wary expressions, but he could feel they were easing up thanks to the explanation. He gave everyone a big goofy grin as he held up his act. This caused Sasuke and Sakura to realize their teammate was being a dumbass still. You may have just dodged a bullet, smooth Otuto. Kurama spoke through their mental connection. Naruto mentally nodded with his Aniki, before turning his attention back to Kakashi. His silver-haired sensei clenched up, as he felt the shiver go down his spine. What the hell is wrong with me? There's no way does the same Naruto who left the village 2.5 years ago. Kakashi thought to himself. Naruto kept his smirk as sensor abilities allowed him to pick up the mood of those around him. However, Naruto mentally narrowed his eyes, feeling 2 very negative chakra signatures hiding and watching. They didn't seem pleased and angry, greatly for some reason. Off in the shadows, 2 figures can be seen sitting in the tree. They both wore whole-body skin-tight black suits, with ANBU masks that covered their complete head. It appears Jiraiya messed up. A male voice could be heard whispering out. I told you it would have been better to leave him in the village. But no, you had to give him to your perverted sensei, didn't you? A female voice fired back. Sorry, the male voice sounded sheepish. Little did these 2 figure no one of Naruto's Kage Bunshin was observing them from the shadows. Naruto had kept up his charade as his clones listened in on the conversations between the 2 Sannin and the other groups watching them. It was lucky he had trained to the bone on chakra control. Sometime later, Kakashi was running through the forest outside of the now destroyed training field. He was on full alert. He has currently abandoned his current mission to attacking Naruto only, after the blonde's display of destructive power earlier. Kakashi's mind raced trying to figure out how Naruto became so strong. This wasn't part of the plan and thing might unravel. Kakashi quickly jumped as he landed on a tree branch, before descending into a bush. With his Sharingan he was able to locate Sakura was not much difficulty. Unfortunately for Naruto and Sasuke they were much more difficult to find. Sakura was hiding under a bush not even 20 meters away from Kakashi. There's Sasuke. Kakashi thought as he spotted the duck-ass Uchiha, crouched on a tree branch. Now where is Naruto? This isn't right, he's supposed to have horrible chakra control, and yet I can't sense his chakra signature at all? Kakashi pondered before dodging, and deadly spiraling sphere of chakra aimed for him. Rasengan! Kakashi quickly and effectively dodged Naruto's Rasengan, only for him to hear the chirping of birds approaching fast from behind him. Kakashi's eyes widened as he saw Sasuke charging at him with Chidori at full power. Chidori! Kakashi quickly dodged, before delivering an earth-shattering kick to Sasuke's left cheek. Kakashi swiftly turned around and blocked Naruto's punch, although upon contact Kakashi's felt something off about Naruto's chakra. Kakashi was by no means a sensory type, he can see chakra in its initial stage with his Sharingan. It may have only lasted for a second, the silver-haired scarecrow felt something off, something ominous about Naruto's chakra. What was that just now? Kakashi thought, only to be brought out of his thought process by Sakura, who came down with a dropkick aimed directly for Kakashi's head. These three aren't giving me any time to think or prepare. Kakashi mentally groaned. Kakashi created some distance in between him and Team 7. Shinobi Tactical Knowledge Number 1, Taijutsu. Kakashi, however, shivered in fear or terror as Naruto had a big fox-like grin, struggling to shrug off the dread he feels in his gut. Kakashi hardens his expressions and steeled his resolve. Kakashi rushed towards his students, as he came into contact with Naruto first. The two exchanged a few punches and kicks before Naruto jumped into the air. Cha! Got ya! Sakura yelled, throwing multiple monstrous punches at Kakashi, who dodged and effortlessly. I just need one shot. Sakura cursed her lack of speed. Her teammates had different reactions at her comment. Sasuke given his usual HN sound as Naruto merely just looked at Sakura, disappointment hidden behind his usual facade. It won't do any good if you can't hit me, Kakashi teased, only for him to back into a tree, quickly ducking as Sakura demolished the tree. Kakashi quickly pulled out a kunai in order to block Sasuke's sword strike. The two exchanged a few slashing blows, as sparks were sent flying in every direction. Kakashi crouched down and kicked Sasuke in the chin, sending you up into the air. Jumping into the air, Kakashi wrapped in bandages around Sasuke's body. Omote Renge, Primary Lotus. Kakashi pile-drive Sasuke's body into the ground. Kakashi quickly jumped out of the crater. After a quick closer inspection he noticed there was a log in the crater instead of a body. Performed the replacement jutsu. Where could he be now? Kakashi pondered for a second. Damn, they've got him pretty good. But where is Naruto? Kakashi wondered to himself, although he didn't have to wonder for too long. Konoha Secret Finger Jutsu, Senin Goroshi, 1000 Years of Death. Kakashi's eyes widened as he turned around only to see Naruto crouch down behind him. Without warning, Naruto rammed his fingers into Kakashi's bottom. The silver-haired scarecrow's eyes widened comically. Naruto couldn't help but grin. He had finally gotten revenge, sending the former ANBU captain flying to the air. Tears streamed out of Kakashi's eyes as he was sent flying through the air before he flew into a tree. Naruto was rolling on the ground laughing, holding his stomach. Ha 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 ha! Naruto laughed while pointing a finger at Kakashi. Kurama, who saw the whole thing, couldn't help but laugh as his voice boomed. Tears formed and Kurama's breathing became hoarse and the air from his lungs became depleted. Kayuriki and Kyomi had an uncontrollable fit of giggles. Though Kayuriki's giggles and fits of laughter was sounding perverted and slightly filled with lust. Kyomi had started banging the ground as her laughter caused her breathing problems. Tears formed at the corner of her eyes. Anyone who saw Naruto's actions either had to struggle from bursting out into a fit of giggles or laughing much like Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke were torn between laughing like idiots and complete shock. More so shock for Sakura, Sasuke shaking his head while trying to control his laughter. Jiraiya frowned, unpleasant memories resurfaced. Remembering the prank Naruto pulled on him spying on a bunch of women back at the Kaminari no Kuni, Land of Lightning. Tsunade held a neutral expression as she just stood there in silence. Shizun has no problem laughing at Kakashi as her uncontrollable giggles sounded like a sweet melody. Team 7 made their way over towards Kakashi's body that was embedded into the trunk of the tree. Jesus, Naruto. Do you think you hit them hard enough? Sakura as she grabbed one of Kakashi's arms, and literally yanks him out of the tree. The silver-haired jounin dropped to the ground like a brick, his eyes were sporting spirals as he clearly knocked out. Oops. Sorry about that, I think I'm the little carried away, Naruto said while scratching his whiskered cheek with a single finger, as he chuckled sheepishly. Dope, were you trying to kill him? What, no, of course not, Sasuke, why would I want to hurt Kakashi-sensei? Naruto howled, as he wanted to keep his act for as long as he possibly could. Humph, the people of this village are even dumber than the ones from our home world. But then again, that's not saying much, Kurama muttered aloud. It doesn't matter, in the end, we won and he lost. Sasuke grunted, acting as his usual emo self, before reaching down and grabbed both of the bells latched onto Kakashi's belt. Tsunade, still sporting her neutral expression, walked over to Jiraiya and grabbed him by the ear. You have a lot of explaining to do, and I don't think they're going to be particularly happy with you, Tsunade growled, ignoring the pervert's cries for mercy. Shizen followed her master, although she wasn't looking forward to the beating Jiraiya would receive from them. Naruto blinked as he noticed everyone but the Umbu were leaving. Looking at the unconscious, limp body of Kakashi, Naruto smirked as he picked up the jounin and carried him off to his apartment. All the while Naruto is sporting a cherish-like grin. Outside of the village, we see two figures standing in the forest surrounding Konoha. The first figure was a tall, rugged man, with long, shaggy black hair and steel blue eyes. He was wearing a gray and blue ceremonial kimono. He also had a blue haori held together by a gray haori himo and a hakama of the same color. The second figure was a beautiful young woman with long, wavy black hair. Her left eye held a Byakugan, while her right eye possessed a Sharingan. She was wearing a black cloak with multiple red clouds printed on it. Shall we collect Kyomi-hime and Kairiki-hime's Jinchuriki Susukuin? The young woman asked the rugged man. Let's wait until tomorrow night, besides he just got back to his home village. He deserves at least another day before we take them out of this hellhole, Mikasa-chan. The rugged man spoke as he narrowed his steel blue eyes at Konoha before the duo vanished in a spiral of lightning, wind, and water. With Naruto. Naruto giggled like a man to himself as he just dropped off Kakashi at his apartment. Naruto idly wonders what his clones are currently doing besides gathering intel. He really wanted to get a better grasp on his abilities, but he could do much other than what he trained in. In addition, with the creepy amount of Umbu agents still watching him, Naruto simply shrugged it off as he made his way to an abandoned training ground. In his original home world, Training Ground 72 had a secret hatch that leads to outside the village. Naruto doesn't know if that hatch still exists in the world, but it's a good idea to test out. The hatch and training field itself was left abandoned because of the numerous reports of people going missing. Most of the time it was because someone happens to find the hatch that was so well hidden even Umbu had a tough time finding it. The hatch itself opened up to a maze of tunnels, caves, and a catacomb of dark passages. One could not simply find the exit of the tunnel, or the end, because the real exit was located in a lake. It was also the reason Naruto got away with so many of his pranks. There was a whole slew of entrances and exits for this catacomb. If exposed, would cause the Leaf Village to fall to ruin. This cave system was made during Hashirama's time, that much he is aware of. Who made it, and why it wasn't on file, which was rather depressing. If the catacomb cave system still existed in this world, he would be able to use his Kage Bunshin to figure out an escape plan. It was rather simple, but doing so while being watched would be a challenge. How about that one time you played Shinobi Tag with your clones when you got bored? Use the smoke that summons them as cover to switch places, Kurama suggested as Naruto's eyes lit up with spine-shivering glint. Thanks, Aniki. Naruto as he raced to the training field and summoned for his clones. Yawning could be heard as the Jinchuriki of three powerful beings fell into a blissful slumber. Naruto indeed was able to easily trick the Umbu agents with his little smoke and clones switcheroo. It was actually quite sad. Naruto was expecting more of a challenge, but then again, with all of the shit he went through in the Fourth Great Ninja War in his original home world, tricking a couple Umbu agents was like a walk in the park. Naruto indeed found out a way leading out of Konoha through the catacomb cave system. But it took fucking hours to find the right exit. When he claimed back out, it was already nighttime and the moon was high in the sky. Naruto stretched out his arms and yawned before rolling over on his side in his sleep, with his cramped small bed of his rinky-dinky apartment. It saddened to Naruto that Kairiki couldn't stay in the real world for long periods of time, because if she did, his life force would diminishing until he died. This applied to both Kyomi and Kurama as well. Naruto does off dreaming about the beautiful queen of all vampires, and surprisingly the former fox goddess as well. But with Naruto's randomness, and the fact he is unpredictable means he would find a loophole some way somehow. He befriended the 9 Bijou from his world. He was the only shinobi besides Old Man Sage to have a friendly conversation with all 9 colossal beings of chakra. The amount of friends the Bijou have could be counted on one hand as well. Somewhere else in Konoha, in a bunker deep in the village, screams of pain could be heard. Inside the bunker, Jiraiya laid on the ground caked in his own blood. Both the Jiraiya's arms were broken as well as his ribs, and a handful of his internal organs were ruptured. Now who could put Jiraiya in such a state? Tsunade, of course not. Now she had red hair similar to a tomato and violet eyes and a fiery temper. Kushina Uzumaki, the mastermind behind everything and in second in command, was Tsunade. Minato didn't get a say in anything, as the guilt he felt overwhelmed his senses. This is all your fault, you stupid pervert. I told you to teach him nothing but the basics, but I know what did you do, you teach him advanced and ninjutsu. He's becoming too strong to control Jiraiya. Kushina yelled at the perverted Gamma Sennin, as her hair whipped around resembling 9 tails. Tsunade stood off in the corner rubbing her forehead in annoyance. At first Tsunade thought Kushina's plan was completely psychotic. However, eventually, Kushina overpowered Tsunade both physically and mentally. The same goes for Jiraiya and Kakashi, as Kushina was more ruthless and cruel than anyone they knew. I'm MSSORRY, Jiraiya gasps out as blood literally gushed out of his mouth. Pain wrecked his body as the bleeding started to become far too dangerous and lethal for the Toad Sennin. Kushina shook her head in disappointment. Tsunade, heal him before he dies, Kushina spoke in barely controlled rage. Her voice was monotone as she stormed out of the bunker, and heading off to her personal chamber. Tsunade did as she was ordered, as she walked over to the nearly dead Gamma Sennin and began to heal him. You could have avoided this beating by just following Kushina's orders. Please use your head next time and not the one in between your legs. Tsunade sighed, as she increased Jiraiya's healing process. Keeping the perverted sage alive was becoming problematic. Kushina was ruthless and unforgiving in her beating. Is this really the right thing to do? Is it really worth this much pain just to ruin Naruto's life? Jiraiya thought to himself as his world went black. His life is spared, but he will be out of commission till he recovered. Off in the corner, there was a cell door, and inside of the cell, we find Minato rocking himself back and forth. Minato's skin was pale, he looked frail and weak as his chakra has been sealed off for nearly 16 years. The sad part was Kushina made a clone of Minato, as she deemed the real Minato too weak. Any man would be too weak when his wife breaks his heart and betrays him. This is all my fault. If only I had proven to Kushina that Naruto was not a monster, then maybe I could have prevented this. Minato rocked himself back and forth within his cell, which Kushina locked him in. Unable to see his son, Minato became more and more mentally unstable as worry, grief, guilt, and fear ate away at the man's sanity. Locked away like some caged rabid animal, he is unable to protect the one thing he had left in this world. Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Tsunade didn't care for his son, which caused Minato to fall into a downward spiral. He prayed to whatever deity would be willing to listen to his pleas. A father wanted so badly to protect his son from the monster that was once his wife. Interesting side note: Kushina was once a loving, caring woman, until the night Kyomi attacked Konoha. After Minato sealed Kyomi into Naruto, Kushina snapped mentally. She placed the seal on Minato while he slept, causing his chakra to be sealed completely off. And since that day, Kushina's been planning to turn Naruto into a mindless slave, as she doesn't see him as her son but as a monster. Minato snapped out of his mental lapse as he saw a mouse on his pillow. The frail and weak man only looked at the mouse in wonder before it went up in smoke. Minato's eyes widened as he knew that jutsu just used. Shock and surprise were the most predominant emotions on his face. Minato may have been mentally breaking down, but this place was protected by Fuinjutsu, and several patrols of Umbugard whom were unaware of his presence in this cell. Only a few people could ever truly enter here unnoticed. However, who those people have eluded the Kage? Kage Bunshin, but who? The former fourth Hokage thought as his mental process thought about something else for once. Looking back at his broken former of his sensei, and Tsunade, who was to focus on saving the man's life. They were completely oblivious to what had just happened. Minato looked back at the pillow before laying down. He didn't know why, but he had a irking feeling something big was going to happen. Call it father's intuition. Time skip. Next morning, Naruto's apartment. Light from the sun streamed in through the small window covered by a set of lines, which only did a half-assed job on keeping the rays of blinding light from getting through. His groan was heard echoing throughout the room. Naruto slowly opened up his cerulean blue eyes. They soon closed almost immediately after opening. The beams of light blinded Naruto, causing him to groan in discomfort. The sun, or the giant ball of fire that gave life to all living beings on this planet, couldn't have picked a better time to rise. Alternatively, better yet, never have risen in the first place? One of these days, he was going to destroy the sun with a supercharged Bijudama, tailed beast ball. Either that, or figure out a way to turn it off. Kurama within his mindscape only could shake his head at his little brother's desire to commit mass genocide. Even though he knew Naruto would never do such a thing. He was simply too kind and gentle. Unless you were Madara or Obito, Naruto could forgive pretty much anyone. Grunting and cursing slightly, Naruto finally forced himself up into a sitting position on the bed and yawned. Mornings, something Naruto absolutely disliked with a burning passion. The young man began to stretch as he could feel his bones cracking and popping. The noises that his bones made would make any normal person cringe in disgust. Within his mindscape, Kurama watched that Kairiki and Kyomi were wakened as well from their slumber. However, Kairiki seemed to be muttering some odd curses about being up so earlier or hating the sun with a passion. Kurama raised an eyebrow, knowing the vampire queen wasn't bothered by sunlight like other vampires. It just annoys her to be mobile in the sun. Finally, Naruto got his lazy ass out of bed, rubbing the back of his head hoping today would be a good day. However, the moment Naruto stood up, all the memories from his clones flashed through his mind. This caused the blonde to yelp in pain as he gripped his head slightly. Perhaps 100 shadow clones was a bit too much. Especially first thing in the morning receiving all these new memories, although one man, in particular, stood out above all the others. Anger and rage filled Naruto's entire being. He only been this angry once before, and that was when he fought against Obito after he became the Jubi Jinchuriki. These new memories even surprised his three tenants, more Kurama than Kairiki or Kyomi. However, Kairiki and Kyomi flinched at the pure amount of bloodlust, killing intent, and primal wild raw power Naruto was releasing. Kurama wasn't affected by the sudden release of his little brother's own Biju chakra within the young man. Kurama did, however, note that the Biju chakra was not of his sibling but of the Jubi itself. No wonder the old man feared the Jubi just as much as his mother. That power, even at a fraction of it, could overpower any of us. I might be a fragment of the Jubi. However, even I don't process such potent and thick chakra. What other effect could possibly happen with the Jubi's chakra in Naruto's system? Kurama thought to himself. Kairiki tried to whisper sweet words to Naruto, trying to calm him down before he alerts the whole village. Naruto couldn't believe it, his own mother was the one behind all of this hatred directed towards him. She could not accept the fact that he was turned into a Jinchuriki, so she plans to make him a mindless drone instead. In addition, what was worse, she sealed off her own husband's chakra and locked him away like a wild animal. How could she do something this horrible? No, she's not my mother, and this bitch is not even remotely close. Moreover, I have to remember, these people are not my friends or family. They just have their face and voice. Nevertheless, what they don't have is the heart, soul, and love that my friends and family does. Naruto thought to himself, as he could not stop himself from shaking in anger. For once Kurama had no words. He was completely silent for the first time in over 1,000 to 2,000 years since his creation. He has seen cruelty among humans, yes, but not to this degree and not this detailed. He always thought humans were ants and pests before he met his little brother Naruto. How could she do such a horrible thing? Even us demons wouldn't even dare to such a thing. Kairiki spoke as she covered her mouth with her hands. Kyomi nodded in agreement with Kairiki's statement as Kurama glanced at the former goddess and vampire queen. Kyomi snarled. I've seen some horrible humans in my time. However, you're the woman who gave birth to you takes the cake. This is an all-time low. Kyomi growled. Interesting fact, Kyomi attacked Konoha not purposely but to attack a certain someone, which she refuses to tell Naruto until he's strong enough to deal with this being. Naruto remained silent, thinking of his real mother, the one whom given birth to him back in his home dimension. He couldn't compare the two, while they were both physically the same. His real mother was strong, brash, compassionate, and powerful. Even if she was knocked down, she'd just back up and kept fighting. In addition, when his real mother learned he was going to be a Jinchuriki, she still loved him, overwhelmingly so. This Kushina couldn't even begin to compare to his mother. Something Kurama silently agreed with his little brother. He may have hated Kushina for being pinned to a damn rock. However, Kushina was able to keep him at bay with just a seal and her chakra chains. That seal was weaker than Naruto's, mind you. Kurama respected Kushina from their world to a degree. She was a pain, yes, but she was tougher than hell. Kurama finally gained enough composure to speak. Naruto, what are you planning on doing? Kurama asked his Ototo, curious on what Naruto was going to do. Naruto clenched his fists until his knuckles turned bright white, blood began to drip out from in between his fingers. Gritting his teeth as Naruto's whisker marks became feral, His eyes became scarlet red as his pupils became slitted like cat's eyes, his fingernails started to resemble claws, and finally, his teeth became fangs. We're leaving tonight in addition. I'm not leaving without my father. I'm not letting him rot away like this. I won't let him spend one more day in that prison if I have to kill that bitch that gave birth to me, so be it, Naruto replied in a demonic tone that sent shivers down his two of tenants' spines. Though both tenants shivered for a different reason. Kurama could only give a feral-fanged grin at his Ototo's answer. Yes, that is good and all, but how will you break in undetected, break the Fuinjutsu that binds him, get out of the village, and deal with those a part of Kushina's plan? You can't simply smash your way in. Nor can you fight off a squad of Umbu by yourself, Kurama pointed out. While Naruto is indeed powerful to the point, he can fight on equal terms with the Jonin. He couldn't take on a whole squad of highly trained Umbu, let alone two Sannin, his mother, and whoever else is following Kushina. Naruto calmed himself down and rubbed his face with his hands. 1,000 different things racing through his mind all at once. Kurama was right, and he couldn't just simply bust down the door and go on a rampage like he wants to. He had to sit down and think of a plan before he made his move. The problem wasn't getting in. Blood seals lined the building and entrance. Only Kushina, Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and a few others were allowed to enter. In addition, with him being their son, so to speak, no alarms will trip as he has their blood flowing through his veins. That was one of the major weaknesses of that place. It's also why his Kage Bunshin were able to sneak past unnoticed. Blood-related seals are not that complex compared to chakra seals, so it left a number of loopholes one could exploit. One Naruto could very well use to his advantage if he plans carefully. If it was a chakra-related seal with a blood seal, then it would be near impossible to even enter that place. Hey Kurama, do you remember when Jiraiya was lecturing us on blood and chakra-related seals and what they are good for and not good for? Naruto asked his brother. Kurama blinked confused for a moment before a savage grin made it onto his face. Kyomi and Kayariki blinked confusingly. They never understood the art of Fuinjutsu much, but Naruto did, while Kurama had a basic understanding of the art. You sly fox kit, Kurama said as Naruto summoned forth some Kage Bunshin. You all know what to do, Naruto said as his clones saluted and left to do their tasks. Koi, what are you planning? The gorgeous vampire queen asked. Let's just say there is a reason I am called Prankster King from Hell, Naruto replied as Kurama started to laugh and Kyomi only ended up more confused. One thing was for sure, Minato was indeed correct. Something indeed was going to happen. Something very big. Konoha's self-destruct sequence began the moment Naruto stepped within the walls of this village. Time skip, nighttime. The sun was finally setting on the once glorious village of Konoha. Naruto had all of his Kage Bunshins out into the village, fulfilling their diligence by getting the supplies he needed. Surprisingly, most of the people in this timeline were much stupider or so much different from his home world. A simple Henj no Jutsu was enough to fool the Umbu agents. This is rather depressing and worrying to the Master Sage. Something that also surprised Naruto were all of his friends. They were all so different. Shikamaru was stupid, ignorant, as well as a glutton. Choji was smart, arrogant, and anorexic. Ino was very shy, timid, and had a fear of boys. Kiba hated dogs and loved cats, which in itself was very weird seeing he is part of the Inuzuka clan. Hinata was a huge bitch, and she would often whore herself out. Niji was Jiraiya's living incarnate, as he is a shameless pervert. Lee was the same as he was in Naruto's original world. Tenten has no real talent with ninja tools at all, and would often cut or hurt herself. Sasuke was still the same arrogant prick, although he was somewhat of a player. Sakura is a whore just like Hinata, so there wasn't much he could add other than he found out she is a genjutsu user. Which was sort of unsurprising, but not by much. Sakura from his old world had perfect control of her chakra and could be a great genjutsu user, but she focused on medical techniques alone. As this greatly saddened Naruto, as all of his friends are so different, but he had no time to whine over such things. The people of this world made their choices, and they would have to live with them. Whether their choices are glorious or horrifying, everyone had to bear the weight and burden of their own choices. Naruto is currently making sure he had everything he needed. 100 explosive tags, 10 containers of itching powder, 15 whoopee cushion with rocks tied to them, and a homemade smoke bomb that smells like cherries and caused ever breathe in the powder would cause very strange hallucinations. Granted, Kyomi taught Naruto how to make the smoke bomb, as she was still kitsune, and she loved pranking people. Naruto is ready to raise hell to get his father back, although Naruto had the distinct feeling that someone is watching him. One of the signatures was definitely a chakra signature. Yellow one was immensely powerful but did not possess chakra, It felt similar to Kyomi's power, only stronger. Naruto-kun, I recognize this power. It's Susanoo, the former storm god. But why is he here and what would he want with you? Kyomi spoke aloud to her host. Susanoo? What is he like? Naruto replied. He's a hopeless drunk, and nearly got himself killed by Amaterasu-chan. When he destroyed her race field in a drunken stupor, there was that reason alone why she is considered the strongest god without counting Kami, Yami, and Shinigami. Kayariki replied, shivering at the being Susanoo received. Kurama couldn't sense any negative emotions coming from these two. However, he still didn't trust anyone just because they didn't have any negative intent. Otuto, while you go over there, ask them why they're here, knowing you may gain them as allies. Kurama suggested, while Kyomi and Kayariki agreed with the giant kitsune made out of living chakra. Naruto sighed before making his way over towards their hiding place while holding a huge sack over his shoulder. He looked like an orange Santa Claus. At this, late in the game, Naruto really didn't care whether the Umbu saw him or not. They can easily mistake the bag for a garbage. I really hope they aren't that dense or stupid, Naruto thought as he kept walking. I know you're there, come on out, Naruto said while staring up at a large tree. Ma, you're good, Whisker-kun, a squeaky female voice called out, as an attractive young woman hopped down from a tree branch. Although compared to Kayariki or Kyomi, she was nothing. In Naruto's own opinion, no female could match the beauty and sexiness of Kayariki and Kyomi. A rugged man with long shaggy black hair and steel blue eyes followed the young woman. Well, Gaki, I'm impressed that you spotted us, but I have to ask, what's with the bag? The rugged man asked. Naruto cocked an eyebrow as his three tenants told him to tell them the truth. To be completely honest, I'm trying to break my dad out of prison before escaping from this village, Naruto said before he noticed the young woman was wearing a black cloak with multiple red clouds printed on it. You're with the Akatsuki, aren't you? Naruto said as he slipped into a battle stance, despite still holding a large bag. The rugged man put his hands up in a non-threatening manner. Whoa, easy there, Gaki, no need for alarm. We are here to take you out of this village and bring you to my sister Amaterasu. She misses her friends Kyomi and Kayariki greatly. You will not be harmed nor will you die if you come with us, the man said, now known as Susanoo. I'm Mikasa Uchiha, and this is Susanoo no Mikoto, but I just call him Suskun. He is my boyfriend. The newly named Mikasa squealed in joy. Naruto along with his three tenants deadpanned at the duo. You have to be fucking kidding me, Naruto mentally whined. Heh. At least she's lively, Kurama replied. Very lively indeed, Kyomi also commented. You better stay with my Naruto-kun, you concubine, Kayariki growled. Naruto shook his head as he stared at the duo once more. Okay, I'll go with you if you help me first. I want you to help me get my father out of this place. You do that for me and I'll go with you without hesitation, Naruto replied, hoping that they would say yes. Sure, why not, Gaki? I could use some entertainment, Susanoo replied with a bored expression on his face. Naruto-chan, you got yourself a deal, Mikasa replied in an all-too-cheerful tone. Both Naruto and Kurama smiled at the same time as many beings across this new elemental nation started to get a bone-shivering chill deep within their core. As if someone was unleashed upon the world and nothing could possibly stop the oncoming storm. The former storm god and his girlfriend saw this smile, and mentally back up a bit. That type of smile could make the worst demon or devil tremble in fear. A short while later, the two members of the Akatsuki followed Naruto through the endless maze of tunnels before they came to a large metal door. There were many seals spread across this door, but one stood out above the others, the middle one. It's made from some kind of golden paper with a blood seal pages into it. Susanoo turned and looked at Mikasa, who nodded as she performed the ram hand seal. Byakugan. The veins around her left bulged. There are 50 chakra signatures, most of whom are Umbu. Correction, they are root Umbu. They are 3 for that have Kage level chakra, and there is one that extremely weak. Mikasa spoke in a grim tone. Susanoo cracked his neck as he pulled out his Tatsuka no Tsurugi, sword of Tatsuka. Naruto took in a deep breath as closed his eyes only to open up his eyes, revealing a pair of fully mature Sharingan. The 3 Tomo pattern soon evolved into a 3 intersecting ellipses with a 3-pointed shuriken in the middle. How do you have the? Naruto turned his head towards Mikasa, who gasped at the fact that Naruto possessed the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I'll explain everything later, let's just say this is the last gift from my best friend, Naruto said before biting his thumb and putting a streak of his own blood onto the center seal. This caused the door to open up in a spiral motion, just as it did for his clone. The duo filed Naruto as he quietly maneuvered through the tight narrow corridors, placing his traps as he went. Continuing down to the underground bunker, Naruto places a special trap for this world, Kushina. With all of his homemade traps all around while they made their way towards his father's cell, Naruto secretly places one more trap down, knowing he had everything covered. Now the only thing left was to spring his trap. Naruto began to feel his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan beginning to drain the chakra. It really wasn't that much of a problem for him since he had so much of it. In truth, this is the first time Naruto used his Sharingan in the physical world since the Fourth Great Ninja War. Nevertheless, the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan given Naruto the advantage he needed to make sure everything was going smoothly. It didn't take the group very long to come upon Minato's cell. Mikasa began to pick the lock. Naruto noticed the movement from inside the cell, which the sound of a lock popping echoed throughout the entire bunker. Naruto mentally cursed himself as he quickly grabbed his weakened, decrepit father out of his crappy mattress. The man was too weak to fight back, not like he would after seeing his son with two other strange people. Minato just silently let his son do the work. He could move and any other basic movements, but he was far from fighting shape. He only has been given enough food to keep him alive and somewhat healthy. He wasn't all skin and bones, but he was close to it. He still silently smiled at his son with a warm expression as Naruto returned the look. Breaking Minato's bonds, Naruto piggybacked his father as the man-hoarse dry voice wheezed some sounds. "Easy too, San, let us handle this," Naruto whispers back as the former fourth Hokage nodded. Susanoo narrowed his eyes. We came here for, we need to leave. That lock was booby-trapped. It wouldn't be wise to stay here for very long. My sister Amaterasu should be able to heal him and remove any seals that were placed on him," Susanoo advised as Naruto performed a single-handed tiger seal. Kai! Multiple small explosions could be heard echoing throughout the corridors of the underground bunker, which were soon followed by cries of either surprise, pain, or anger. That should hold them for a little while as a chance to leave, Naruto spoke as he created a Kage Bunshin to carry his father. The Kage Bunshin dashed off without a second thought as Naruto and the others prepared to leave. Naruto hears a voice of someone he vowed to see the error of their ways. "Going so soon, demon?" A voice called out from behind Naruto, gritting his teeth. Kushina, Naruto said in a calm yet bone-chilling demonic tone. Naruto's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan glowed with power and anger as his own Bijou chakra spiked for a quick second. "You shouldn't have come here," Kushina said with a twisted grin as her tone was filled with anger. "You shouldn't have come out of your room," Naruto said as one of Naruto's traps ensnared Kushina, who was now affected by the cherry-smelling powder. The Kage-level Kunoichi started to see delusions, as she screamed in absolute terror at absolutely nothing. The two Akatsuki members were curious what could cause such an induced state. "Come on, we don't have much time and that powder will wear off in an hour or two," Naruto said as all three members of the rescue party blotted for the exit, following Naruto as they went. The former storm god, while silent, was impressed greatly. This kid was able to cripple and slow down not just a Kage-level shinobi but also entire squads of Numbu at that. "What was that red powder stuff, Whisker-kun?" Mikasa asked with her normal squeaky joyful voice. "Oh, nothing much, just some powder I learned how to make a while back." "Impressive, Gaki, you were able to sneak into a highly guarded place and cripple almost everyone here." Naruto smiled as he turned to the storm god. "Thanks," was all Naruto said as the three of the members hauled ass out of the cave exit. Outside the land of fire, Naruto looked over Minato, whom hugged his son as soon as they regrouped. Naruto's EMS was deactivated as he checked over his father for any injuries or something he lacked other than food, training, rest, and a mental exam. "Nice to see you still have some life in you, old man," Naruto said as the son given the dad some protein bars and food pills that were specially modified. Given Minato some bottled water, the fourth Hokage made short work of the food and water give to him. It was better than those MRE that his clone given him. The said clone would die without Minato actually being there to supply it with anything it might have needed. Chakra is the number one thing that it needed to function. Without Minato supplying the clone with his chakra, the flesh and blood clone would break down like a decomposing corpse. "We need to head to our base before any Umbu squads find us, Gaki," Susanoo said as he scanned the area around him. "Agreed," Naruto said as he threw his dad's arm over his shoulder and carried him as if he was a wounded man. "Sochi, how did?" Minato spoke with a soft, hoarse voice. Naruto smiled as he glanced to his dad. "Deception is a shinobi's bread and butter. All will be explained when you fully recover and possibly get back into shape," Naruto said as the older shinobi blinked before giving a dry chuckle as he nodded. In the underground bunker, Kushina's frustrating scream and yelling could be heard. Not only that, but she throwing everything she can get her hands are chakra chains around. All the planning. All the years I spent in this bunker, waiting for that little demon to reach the proper age to manipulate and control. It's all gone. Kushina screamed at the top of her lungs with her hair was whipping around similar to that of the Nine Tails. Her eyes were glowing red, and she was giving off a maleficent aura. Standing opposite to her was a young man with shoulder-length spiky blonde hair and blue eyes. This was Minato, to be more exact the clone of Minato Kushina created. Please, Kushina-sama, please calm down. The clone spoke in a calm, respectful manner. The only thing the clone received in for his efforts was a chakra chain through the head. I will not calm down. How could this happen? How could he possibly possess the Mangekyo Sharingan? Kushina yelled out in questions but received no answers from either Sannin or anyone else in the room. Kushina started to giggle and laughed like someone who completely lost their mind as a disturbing lunatic laugh filled the area. Ha 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 hee, I knew it. That fucking Mikoto must have given it to him. She was the only whore against this. Hee, what's next? That demon banging that whore like the slut she is before I find her and gut her open like a fish? Kushina continued ranting, as Jiraiya hid behind Tsunade. Tsunade kept herself as small as possible, shivers ran down both Sannin's spines. Danzo. A frail, old man, black, shaggy hair, and his right eye was bandaged, with an X-shaped scar on his chin. The old man wore a white shirt, with a black or dark gray robe over the top of it covering from his feet to just over his right shoulder. You do not need to yell so loud, Kushina, I believe the Reikage can hear you clearly in Kumo. Danzo spoke in a humorous tone before all humor disappeared from his facial features. I told you this would happen, he would eventually find out about you. In addition, he would leave you if you did not put a leash on the weapon as I advised you to. You should have given him to me, then none of this would have happened, Kushina-sama. However, do not worry because I sent out the route to bring him back. If he truly has the Mangekyo Sharingan along with the Kyuubi, then you have the perfect weapon to wage war. Danzo spoke in an emotionless tone. Once I get him back to the village, I'll get him under my control with Koto Amatsukami. Moreover, I will destroy you, you wretched bitch. I may want to become ruler of whole continent, but what you did to Minato is unacceptable. All of this will end up with you trapping yourself instead of keeping the weapon under our thumb. That will lead to your undoing in more ways than one. Danzo thought to himself. Kushina took a couple calming breaths before she stormed out of the room, not wanting to talk to anyone. Jiraiya finally came out from behind of Tsunade as he was shaking like a leaf. Danzo-san, who exactly did you send after Naruto? Tsunade asked with an eyebrow cocked. Curious to who could possibly be strong enough to handle a Jinchuriki. Even if Naruto is stupid in her opinion, he was still a pain in the ass to take down. The memory of the sparring match with Kakashi flashed in the slug Sannin's mind. Danzo did not look at Hashirama's granddaughter, as he simply smirked. I sent 2 specific individuals after him that will be able to overpower him and bring him back, Danzo said with a creepy smirk on his face, before he left the bunker. Tsunade Heim. Tsunade turned to the frightened Gamma Sannin. What is a Jiraiya? Tsunade spoke with an emotionless look on her face. Do you think we're doing the right thing? Do you honestly think it was good for us to lock away Minato, and do all that stuff too? Jiraiya tried to say before he was slapped in the face. Do not question Kushina-sama's orders, Jiraiya. Now please clean up the corpse in the corner. Tsunade said as she pointed to the clone of Minato, who is missing a good quarter of his head. Tsunade left the bunker in order to return to the Hokage Tower. Jiraiya simply grumbled under his breath as he picked up the corpse of the clone of his former student. I can't help but feel with Naruto out of the village. I get an eerie feeling of doom upon us. Perhaps maybe I could have prevented this. No. Stop doubting yourself, Jiraiya. You just need to go to the hot springs and spy on some young beautiful women. Hee hee hee. Jiraiya thought to himself, before carrying the corpse out of the bunker with him. With Naruto. Naruto followed Susanoo, and his pretty but crazy girlfriend Mikasa Uchiha. Minato was currently being supported by 2 Naruto's clones. They all lazily made their way towards Amigekure in order to meet Amaterasu. Naruto, you can trust Ami-chan. Then she most likely will heal your father. Just don't do anything to anger her. Kayariki assured. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Amaterasu-chan and her 2 siblings Susanoo and Tsukuyumi were the only gods in Takamijihara I trust nowadays. Because of my exile they left, and Kami and Yami had increased their work ethic in order to compensate for them leaving. Kiyomi spoke in a happy tone, happy and excited to see her old friends. Kurama was quiet as he was wondering who was in the Akatsuki in this world. With no Geto Mazo in this world, he wouldn't have to worry about being sealed, but he was still uneasy. Narrowing his eyes, he could feel the Jubi chakra deep within Naruto attempting to consume his own. This is going to get out of hand eventually. This chakra is going to become too powerful for me to suppress. I wonder if I should tell Naruto or not? Kurama thought to himself. I may have a way to get to Amigakure faster, Naruto announced, as he was sick and tired of walking at a slow pace. Naruto was not a very patient person. Even after all the training he went through, he was still a very impatient young man. Susanoo completely stopped as he turned around and looked at Naruto. Do you now? Well then, let's hear it. Susanoo spoke with his eyebrow cocked. Yes, Whisker-kun, please do tell, Mikasa spoke in her bubbly tone. Minato looked at his son with a confused expression. Had his son mastered or even learned any time-space ninjutsu? Naruto's eyes shifted to his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, as a thick, potent, and yet cold purple aura exploded from his body, taking the shape of a humanoid skeleton from the waist up. This skeleton then grows muscle, tissue, and skin before its body is engulfed by armor. The amortized humanoid being evolved further as it grew a lower half. It now resembled a gigantic 300-meter-tall ethereal samurai warrior with wings. Minato could not believe his eyes. His son possessed the Sharingan. How is something like this possible? Had he been drunk and accidentally knocked up Mikoto? They all found themselves lost in the sea of purple chakra/aura. Naruto's perfect Susanoo is almost a perfect reflection of Sasuke's. Only Naruto's perfect Susanoo resembles Kakashi's perfect Susanoo he only had for a period before his Sharingan got burned out. Jikai, what the hell is this thing? Susanoo yelled out in surprise. Relax, Susanoo, I believe this is the Susanoo in its final stage. Isn't that correct, Whisker-kun? Mikasa spoke in a serious tone of voice, using her Byakugan on Naruto for the first time, and was surprised. She did not only saw Kyomi and Kairiki inside of Naruto, but she also saw something much stronger, even stronger than Amaterasu possibly. You see, Kurama, don't you? Naruto said, not even looking at the female Uchiha. Sighing, Naruto had yet explained everything he could do now, which is a lot, quite honestly. I'll explain everything later, as what I have to tell you may not believe me. But I really don't care if you do or don't. I'll use my Susanoo to get us to Amigakure in no time, Naruto said as he felt his chakra draining rapidly, as he felt the signs of fatigue kicking in. The perfect Susanoo was no joke. It was both the ultimate attack and defense, but also the potential to kill the user, as it would drain the user's chakra down to absolute zero. They're not careful. Lucky for Naruto, aim was not that far away, but he would be in no condition to fight after they land. The closer aim becomes, the less chakra he has. He was also what some call a chakra monster, so he had some time before he's drained of chakra. Naruto, do not worry, I've already prepared chakra for you. Moreover, I will transfer it when your reserves get too low, Kurama informs younger brother. Yes, Kyomi, and I have stabilized your life force, as well as adding her own power into the chakra Kurama prepared for you. You have a total of an hour before your newfound power of yours wears off. However, until then, pace yourself, Koi, Kairiki informed her lover. Thank you guys, it really means a lot to me that you're willing to help me, Naruto replied with a smile as he controlled his Susanoo with some difficulty. It was hard maintaining this massive avatar of chakra. It would take some practice and loads of training to really use this technique to its fullest. Nonsense, Naruto-kun, you're the first human I've actually ever cared about. Kyomi spoke in a friendly motherly tone, unaware of the blush forming on her cheeks. Spending so much time with Naruto seems to broken her inner tsundere, or at least towards him. Naruto smiled as he prepared his Susanoo. With a single flap of his Susanoo's wings, he took off into the air at Mach 1 speed, shocking the former storm god and Mikasa as the ground before further and further away. Naruto all the while cheering, he loved the feeling of flying. Kurama shook his head at his little brother's joy, but solidified to speak to his little brother figure about the recent development that is happening with the Jubi's chakra deep within Naruto's chakra core. Outside of Amigakure. Amigakure used to be a miserable, boring place until Amaterasu and her two siblings arrived to establish the Akatsuki organization. Ever since Amaterasu set foot in Amigakure, it hasn't rained since she arrived, unless Susanoo was angry or drunk. We find a beautiful tall woman with long white hair, with crimson markings spread across her body. She was dressed in an elegant red and white kimono that is crafted from the finest silk. Her gold obi tied tightly around her waist. Her eyes were a majestic, gold and red, that resembled molten gold that held centuries of knowledge. She had a golden tiara on her head with blue sapphires embedded in it. She had a necklace of Yasaka beads around her neck. She also had a very busty figure, and had rather pale skin. She had a pair of white wolf, a single wolf tail that was lazily swaying back and forth. She was the former sun goddess Amaterasu Amikami. Standing next to her was a young man with gray hair and purple eyes, This man had an elegant look to him. He wore a black and white ceremonial kimono. He also had a black haori held together by a white haori himo and a hakama of the same color. This man was none other than the former moon god Tsukuyomi no Mikoto, as well as the former husband of Amaterasu while they were in Takamijiehara. After leaving the heavenly plains, the first thing Tsukuyomi did was divorce Amaterasu, as he never loved her in any fashion other than siblings. He does respect her, but love was far from anything he felt for the former sun goddess. A third person was standing directly behind them. He had pale white skin with straight red hair. He wore a black cloak with multiple red clouds printed on it. He also had a rinnegan in both of his eyes. This man was none other than Nagato Uzumaki, the CEO of the Akatsuki. As Amaterasu did not want the world to know, she was the leader of a criminal organization. "Why are we out here again, Nei-chan?" Tsukuyomi spoke in a very bored tone of voice, as he'd rather be in a hot spring surrounded by beautiful young women. The white-haired woman sighed. "Susanoo sent me a telepathic message. Apparently the target they were sent after is flying them here," Amaterasu spoke as she stared up at the sky, and soon noticed that a purple object was heading towards them at a fast rate. "I see," to Amaterasu-sama. "It's completely made out of chakra. It has a humanoid shape to it." Nagato spoke in a curious tone as he stared at the construct of chakra. It was like he was staring at the sun and moon, being eclipsed. And his gigantic Tsukuyomi spoke in a very plain tone as his eyes showed no emotion. His eyebrow and facial features showed he was curious what could generate so much power. The last human he saw have this much power was only a half-demon. Yet in the air was a being that surpassed any human being he knew from every meeting he ever tools. He could feel a perfect blend of Yin chakra and Yang chakra. Not even that pervert Hagoromo achieved such unity and divinity. Within seconds, a gigantic humanoid figure landed directly in front of them, sending out a massive shock wave that shakes the entire ground. This caused Nagato to fall on his butt from the force of the shock wave alone. "Ouch! Why, what's the big idea landing like that?" Nagato yelled out in a very Uzumaki fashion. The giant purple ethereal winged samurai warrior's body began to break down till it vanished. Susanoo and Mikasa landed on their feet, as did Naruto's clone who was holding Minato. The real Naruto, on the other hand, is hunched over huffing and puffing. He then took a seat on the ground. "Man, I'm pooped," Naruto announced the world. The smoke started to clear as the two former deities got a look at the target, and both were surprised at the amount of power hidden within the boy. Even the amount of power he has now was staggering. Nagato's eyes widened as he got a closer look at Naruto. Such chakra, it's beyond Kairiki-sama and Kyomi-sama level of power alone. And this third being within the boy could possibly match Lady Amaterasu. "I thought from our reports he was weak and not all that bright. Were our spies and reports wrong?" the Rinnegan user thought. "Damn it! I didn't realize the Susanoo consumed that much power." Kurama spoke in a with frown as his little brother's reserves were fine, but he would make sure Naruto would train in that technique before ever summoning the full Susanoo ever again. "It's not your fault, Kurama. Anyways, all I need is a good night's sleep, and of these could his new." Naruto replied as he yawned while trying to ease his big brother's worry. Kurama only grumbled as the massive Biju knew Naruto was right. "You're going to have to wait until later, Naruto-kun. I believe Ami-chan has waited long enough," Kairiki informed her lover/host. "Kairiki is right, Naruto-kun. Amaterasu-chan is more important than taking a nap. Now please go talk to her." Kyomi spoke in a lecturing tone. All right, I'll go talk to her," Naruto replied in a somewhat snotty tone, mainly due to his tiredness. Kairiki and Kyomi only rolled their eyes as Kurama just remained quiet. "Yo guys, what's up?" Naruto said with a cheeky grin that reminded the two deities of a fox. Inside his mind, Kurama laughed as Kairiki and Kyomi's face faulted comically. "You are an interesting kid." The former god of the moon spoke in a neutral tone, studying Naruto as if he was some sort of odd creature he never encountered before. Amaterasu merely gazed at Naruto studying him. She couldn't tell what is this being in front of her. Her senses are far better than her siblings are. However, this Naruto Uzumaki more felt like a human with untapped powers that only could come from a primordial deity. She also felt an incredible warmth coming off him that she has not felt ever. "Who exactly are you, Uzumaki Naruto? And why has a primordial deity marked you?" the former goddess of the sun and universe pondered. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he shrugged. "Maybe I never saw myself as special," Naruto said honestly. Kurama scoffed inside Naruto's mind. "Yes, special, he is real special, alright. Special in the head." Kurama muttered as Naruto's eye twitched and the vampire queen and former fox goddess tried to hide a giggle. "Fuck you, Kurama! I am a solid mass of chakra. How can you fuck that which has no gender? By interrupting your naps. You wouldn't dare. Watch me fuzzball. Hairless ape. Overgrown rug. PFFF ha 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 ha. Hee hee hee. Kairiki and Kiyomi both giggled as the two brothers fought. Never in their lives have they seen such close beings argue only to laugh it off shortly after. The CEO and the former god and goddess watched at the Jinchuriki laughed at nothing. However, they wondered how close he was to both Kiyomi and Kairiki. Some time later, Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, Susanoo Nagato, and Mikasa were all completely baffled by the story Naruto told them. If it wasn't for the fact that he had low Bija level chakra, a third tenet, and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, they would have never believed that he came from another world or at least a separate dimension. The three former goddess along with the CEO and Susanoo's estranged girlfriend sat quietly thinking among themselves while Naruto stared at them with a calm facade. But inside that calm facade was a nervous young man who was worried they didn't believe him. Tsukuyomi looked up at Naruto with a serious expression. You realize how ridiculous your story sounds? Naruto nodded. This strange part is I believe you. Well, we all believe you, at least I think we do, Tsukuyomi said with a questioning look on his facial features. Mikasa then spoke up. Madara is the only person I know who had the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. So that's proof enough for me, although what you told us about your world. Gods and demons don't exist and Konoha is good with the Akatsuki are evil and they're trying to resurrect a primordial god essentially. The dual dojutsu user said with a worrying tone. Amaterasu opened up her reddish gold eyes, which to Naruto resembled the rising or setting sun. Naruto-chan, I have a few questions for you, are you willing to answer them? Naruto nodded to the former sun goddess. Okay, my first question is, would you be willing to join the Akatsuki? If this were my original world I would say no. However, we're not in my old world so you have my full support, Emi-chan. Naruto said, unaware of the fact Amaterasu loved being called that nickname. A small smirk spread across Amaterasu's face, as she stared at the blonde-haired human before her. Good, I'm glad that you joined us. As for my second question, would you be willing to allow me to extract Kiyomi-chan and Kairiki-chan? Amaterasu asked as she noticed Naruto had a look of worry and caution develop in his eyes. Despite the calm look he has right now, Naruto didn't want to die. Dying was absolutely the last thing he ever wanted to do right now. I'm not going to kill you, Naruto-chan. The extraction I'm talking about is removing them without damaging your chakra coils or your soul. It's something that we kami are capable of. Plus, I don't think I'd be able to deal with the guilt if I killed someone like you. Amaterasu tried to reassure Naruto as calmed down a bit. The blonde shinobi blinked with a questioning look take over his facial features. Guys, help me out here. Naruto called towards his three tenets. I sense no lies coming from her, Naruto, you can trust her, plus you'll still have me here. This extraction sounds so different from what we're used to, Kurama said with a grumbling tone to his voice. Naruto mentally nodded in agreement with Kurama. Extraction also equaled death for a Jinchuriki. So when Naruto hears extraction of one of the three tenets in him, his mind and body becomes instantly on guard, as he wasn't planning on dying. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, Emi-chan is one of the most friendliest kami you'll ever meet. She'll take good care of you, so don't worry. And I'll finally be able to hold you on the outside world for longer than an hour at a time. Kairiki giggled perversely at the end. Naruto's face matched a cherry at his vampire lover was suggesting. Yes, Amaterasu-chan has never lied to anyone before, so I don't believe she would start lying now. Plus, I really miss the feeling of the wind brushing through my hair. Kiyomi spoke in a happy and longing tone. Naruto sighed as his tenants reassured him that nothing bad would happen, so he had nothing to worry about right now. Okay, Emi-chan, you can extract them, but only them. Kurama wants to stay inside me, Naruto said as Amaterasu nodded. Kurama distanced himself from the two females as they waved goodbye. Kurama only remained quiet as he waited for the former goddess and queen of vampires to be extracted. Nagato wanted Naruto to be his partner, as they were both Uzumaki and they both had extremely powerful dojutsu. However, he would wait until everything was said and done. Nagato knew the extraction would take a lot out of Naruto and leave him in the exhausted state. The young shinobi will be in a semi-coma-induced state till he recovered. With this being called Kurama still inside him, it shouldn't take that long at all. Without warning, Amaterasu stood up and walked towards Naruto before gently placing her hand on his stomach. Blinking confusion, Naruto was about to ask when he felt the most intense pain he had ever felt in his life. It was brief, but nothing in his life even came close to what he just felt. Amaterasu slowly pulled her hand back from his stomach as the large streams of energy followed. One was bright red while the other was black. With one quick jerk, Amaterasu ripped the two energy streams out of Naruto, who dropped down to his hands and knees. Amaterasu then releases the two orbs of energy, which they both transformed into Kairiki and Kyomi. Naruto soon passed out when the extraction was completed. Kyomi blinked as everything was swirling around her. Kairiki, however, fared better, looking for her lover only to spot him sleeping on the floor. With a perverted smile, the queen of vampires grabs her lover and lays him in her lap while stroking his hair. All sorts of naughty thoughts were going through Kairiki's mind as Kyomi regained her bearings. Within Naruto's mindscape. Ugh, my head. A young shinobi announced as he leaned up, noticing he was on something soft and furry. Looking down, Naruto saw Kurama holding him in his humanoid hand. Kit, we have something serious to discuss, Kurama said with an unplayful tone. Blinking confused, Naruto only nodded as he shifted his full attention to his older brother figure. You are aware you have the chakra of the other Bija and my own within you, Sasuke giving you a boost in power and dojutsu? Kurama started off on. Naruto nodded, knowing the chakra from all 9 Bija were inside his chakra core. There has been an unforeseen development, Kurama said before he paused. The Jubi chakra has now replaced all the Bija chakra in your system, and I do not know what sort of outcome will be born from this, Kurama said with a worried tone. The Jubi? Why is the Jubi's chakra in my system? Naruto asked with a semi-surprised look. I do not know, but for the past 2 years, it has grown in size. It's been leeching off everything in and around you. Nature energy, my chakra, Kyomi's chakra, Kawaki's chakra, and even now it's drawing in the energy from those around it. Kurama said, never knowing the way the Jubi's chakra will react to anything. Naruto becomes very worried at hearing this news. Naruto knew from speaking with Kairiki or Kyomi they do not possess the same internal energy humans do. However, it's vastly similar to the way they could use it. You will be okay, right? The blonde shinobi asked his bigger brother figure. Yes, but it's hard to tell. The Jubi's chakra is potent, far more potent than even my own chakra. I am able to keep it suppressed for now. However, if you don't find a way to control this chakra, it could end up destroying you. It's not bad right now, but you're still human, Naruto, and you do not possess a Rinnegan. The Rinnegan helped Madara, and Obito tames the Jubi's chakra without the need of training. But you do not possess such a dojutsu, therefore the potent chakra of the Jubi could very well start to become too great for your body to bear, Kurama said with a troubled look on his face. One problem after another, Naruto grumbled as a troubled look is on Naruto's face. Deep in thought, the former Konoha shinobi rubbed the back of his head. The real world. Amaterasu carefully watched as Kairiki gently ran her fingers through Naruto's hair. Amaterasu also saw the perverted grin on the vampire queen's face. I guess that's her relationship with Naruto-chan? The former sun goddess thought as she sweat dropped. Amaterasu-chan, Kyomi said completely out of character as she tackled hug one of her best friends to the ground. Amaterasu groaned at the impact while her two brothers simply laughed at her predicament. It's good to see you, to Kyomi-chan, but can you please let go of me? I can't breathe, Amaterasu wheezed out, as Kyomi was literally crushing her to death. Kyomi finally snapped back to reality, as she noticed many new faces along with some old ones all staring at her. She blushed in embarrassment. No one had seen this side of her before. Somewhere else. 2 members of Danzo's route calmly made their way, as they were following Naruto's trail. The taller of the two stopped as he lost Naruto's trail, as he observed the giant crater on the ground. Tenzo, what's wrong? The shorter of the two spoke in an emotionless tone. I lost the trail, sigh. Perhaps he was attacked by something? The one named Tenzo replied in an equally emotionless tone. What we do? Tenzo simply stood there before turning around. We informed Danzo-sama of what transpired here, and we have Jiraiya reverse summoning back. Sai nodded as he followed Tenzo back to Konoha. Naruto's subconscious. Naruto blinking confusion, he looked around. Was he just in a giant swimming pool for filled ramen? And Kairiki was wearing a 2-piece orange bikini. Naruto now finds himself in the empty white void. It stretched for eternity in every direction. The place was honestly creepy. There was nothing to it. Was bland, boring, etc. Like some bad horror movie or a dream, you can't wake up from no matter what you do. Is anyone out there? Naruto called out to the emptiness. Greetings, young one, a powerful primal but emotionless bored voice answered him. Naruto looked in the direction where the voice came from. He saw a tall, slender humanoid figure that really didn't have any distinguishing factors. Other than the single eye that was characterized by red sclerae and irises, with a ripple pattern spreading over the eyeball and 9 tomo. Naruto also noticed his humanoid figure had 10 long serpent-like tails with hands at the end, as well as a crown of horns on its head much like a Beto after taking in the jubi. Why you are TT jubi? Naruto stuttered in fear and shock as he pointed a finger at the humanoid figure. You're partially correct, young one, indeed I was the jubi. But that is only part of the story you are aware of. My name is Shinju, primordial deity of life, death, peace, time and space, Sasura, nature, energy, elements, creation, destruction, and balance. I am one of the 6 strongest primordial beings. The ghostly figure said as Naruto blinked in surprise. Those are sure of lots of things to be primordial of. The Uzumaki thought while being confused. I was turned into infernal walking tree referred to as the jubi. However, that was because my soul was separated from my body for so long ago. The one called Kagaya Otsutsuki, the mother of Hagoromo Otsutsuki the Rikudo Sennin I believe you call him. She is the one that consumed my forbidden fruit. Not only did she gain some of my power thus causing her to ascend to godhood. It's only through the effort of Hagoromo and his brother Hamura that the 2 of them were capable of defeating Kagaya. Shinju said as Naruto nodded following the story so far. After they managed to seal her away into what you knew as the moon. They not only did strip her of all the power she stole from absorbing my power. However, they ejected my soul from her very being. When Hagoromo made the 9 Bijas I hid my soul deep within the 9 Bija you know. Shinju further explained while Naruto had a questioning look. Go ahead? Shinju said. If you're a primordial, couldn't you just overpower Kagaya? Naruto asked confused while rubbing his head. Yes and no. While I could overpower her any time I couldn't kill her, as she would just resurrect or regenerate from any damage. Also, I was in the form of a tree watching other worlds and keeping taps with the other primordial beings. Me staying within Kagaya herself was enough for a majority of her powers to be completely suppressed. Shinju said with a calm, cool tone. Wait, you said Kagaya absorbed some of your power? Naruto asked back, tracing a bit. Yes, she would keep trying to take all my power but only ended up with so much of my real power. But my power was split in half during this time, Shinju said. What was the other half your power then? The blonde shinobi asked. Shinju without hesitation answered Naruto. You see, they were gods in your world, I'm one of them although I am the oldest of the 4. When comparing the 3 of us to the kami of this world hold no comparisons. On my own, I'm capable of destroying planets and dimensions. However, I have no desire to cause such events. Anyways, Kagaya only had access to some of my power. A fraction of that power is what you now call chakra. Another part of my power that was released into the world the moment she bit into my fruit, I believe you call it nature energy. Naruto simply stared at the primordial with a look of disbelief. Wait, he did say he was primordial of all those things a bit ago. So how powerful is Shinju really? Naruto pondered. You could not be a primordial being without some serious over-the-top abilities or powers. If chakra and natural energy are only fractions of Shinju's true power, then Naruto was seriously worried if this being were to go all out in a fight. Naruto looked at Shinju carefully for a moment before gathering his thoughts. Kurama told me you were siphoning off nature energy along with his own chakra, and Kyomi and Kairiki's power. Why? Naruto asked, wondering what the primordial would say. Yes, it is true that I siphoned off some of their power. I've already collected enough power to restore my lost power. As of right now, I'm just as strong as I was before Kagaya stole my fruit. The reason why I called you here is because I would like you to be my successor, Shinju said honestly. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. What? Why would you choose me? Scratch that, why would you even think of giving me your power in the first place? Naruto yelled in confusion, while the Shinju gave no physical reaction. Because you're the only one worthy of my power, and I know you won't abuse it. You've earned the respect of all 9 Bijas. That feat is extremely difficult to do if not impossible. You are even able to remove the hatred from Kurama. That alone is enough for me, and living for as long as I have. I never once had a child of my own, and I want you to be my heir. Plus I believe that this new world is in need of a primordial. I would do it, but there is a certain law placed by the oldest primordial deities that prevent me from doing so also. I am a bit too lazy to do it, Shinju said as he stretched his arms out and yawned. Naruto simply deadpanned as he stared at the first Bija. So let me get this straight, you called me here because you're too lazy to do your own job? Naruto said as the Shinju nodded. Naruto sighed. Wait. What if I become a vampire? Will that mess up this process? Naruto spoke in a worried tone. Shinju only raised an eyebrow, wondering if Naruto knew that becoming a primordial will overpower and destroy the vampire blood that would be flowing through his veins or simply enhanced his vampire abilities to godly levels. Either way, Naruto would not suffer from it. Do not worry, Uzumaki Naruto. Being a primordial god will make you stronger than any vampire could ever dream of. Besides, it won't matter if you're a vampire or a human. Once you become a primordial, only a select number of things would ever seriously harm you. Training will be a problem though, as my power is vastly superior to any vampire," Shinju said calmly. Naruto's eye twitched. "Yeah, I know I need the Rinnegan to control your power, is the only reason why Obito was able to become the Jinchuriki of you," Naruto said, although he soon flinched as he noticed the Shinju narrowed his single eye. "Do not compare me to that walking tree, which may have been my physical body. However, it wasn't me as a whole being. You do not need the Rinnegan to control my power. That is when you want to become the Jinchuriki of that husk." Shinju spoke in an annoyed tone. "Wait, you said may have been my physical body, what do you mean by that?" Naruto asked. Shinju sighed calmly as he looked to Naruto. "The Geto Mazo, as you call it, was my original physical body until Kagaya ate my fruit. As of right now, it no longer physically belongs to me in any form. What power remains now are only fragments, a hollowed husk with mere echoes of my power that inhabits that old body. It is now the husk of what you're called the Jubi. The Jubi itself is Kagaya Otsutsuki, whom tried to absorb me into her being. I'm amazed at how stupid the ones you call Obito and Madara truly are, falling for the lies of the Kagaya's spawn Black Zetsu. Although it seems that your friend Sasuke, who gave you his eyes, burned Black Zetsu to ash with Amaterasu." Naruto simply stared at the primordial god with his mouth agape by all this new information. "It's time for you to return to the real world, Uzumaki Naruto. If you ever need aid in battle, then Kurama is incapable of helping you. Our power will aid you. In time you will become the new Shinju and have my abilities and powers," Shinju said. "Wait, before I go, should I tell anyone about you?" Naruto asked. The ancient primordial god gazed at its heir. "It's completely up to you, young one. If I would tell anyone, tell Kurama, because from what I've seen, if anyone else knew my existence, they would begin to fear you due to how powerful I am. Be careful who you tell. Sayonara, Uzumaki Naruto," Shinju said before Naruto vanished. The primordial god looked towards an empty space, his energy mixing with Naruto's deep within the boy's core. "Soon, Uzumaki Naruto, you will become greater than Kagaya, Hagoromo, and Obito. And you can change the fate of this world for the better," Shinju said as the phantom disappeared to who knows where. Unknown location. Naruto groaned as he opened up his eyes only to realize that he is somewhere that is pitch black and hard to see. Needing to get his bearings, Naruto quickly activated his Sharingan, allowing him to see a bit better in the dark. This allowed him to make out lines and shapes in the room swallowed by darkness. The room was large, much larger than his old apartment, and looked like only something royalty would ever have. Feeling the bed sheets, the shinobi noted that are made of silk instead of some cotton-based thread. Naruto also felt something amazingly warm and soft pushed against the back of his head. Turning his head slightly, Naruto sees the wavy black locks that flowed down like a waterfall. On closer inspection, Naruto looked like a goddess given form as he could smell her intoxicating scent. It is his vampire lover Kairiki. She was curled up next to him. She had him in a death grip as Naruto noticed one thing about the state of his lover. She is naked like the day she was born. Naruto then noticed that he was also naked as well. Naruto had to fight the primal desire to claim his lover. Her massive naked breast pressed into his back much more as her grip tightens. "What the hell? How long I've been out for? Kurama, are you there?" Naruto called out to his tenant, all the while trying to keep himself under control. Naruto mentally groaned as he closed his eyes, concentrating as he entered into his mindscape, in order to tell the giant chakra kitsune about his meeting with the Shinju. It was going to be an interesting day, Naruto knew this. Mindscape. Naruto appeared in his mindscape as it still had the royal throne room theme. Sure enough, Naruto found the giant fox lying on his favorite giant pillow asleep with drool clearly spilling out of his mouth. Walking up to the giant fox with intent, Naruto stood not even 3 feet from his surrogate brother. "What, Kurama, wake the hell up!" Naruto yelled, which Kurama groaned and opened up a single eye. "Ugh! Damn it, Ototo, you don't have to yell so loud," Kurama growled before noticing the serious expression on Naruto's face. "What's with the look, Naruto? Did something happen?" Kurama asked in a questioning tone. Kurama knows Naruto better than anyone else other than Kairiki. So when Naruto had a serious face etched upon his features, Kurama listened as the blonde lovable idiot was hardly serious unless it was about a handful number of things. "First of all, Kurama, how long have I been out for?" Naruto asked, feeling like time has passed him by when he woke up. Kurama pushed himself up into a sitting position. 4 to 5 days, give or take. Kairiki wouldn't leave your side no matter what, and Kiyomi was worried too. Despite that vixen behavior, she was worried, as was your father. Kurama said as Naruto's eyes widened. What? I've never been out that long before? Naruto said in a surprised tone. The most he had ever been out for was 3 days. However, that was after Naruto's and Sasuke's at the Valley of the End when they were younger. Kurama's chakra did miracles saving Naruto from dying. Well, you did have 2 powerful beings extracted from you. I've been doing my best to heal you, but my chakra seems to have less of an effect on you now. I still don't know why, but whatever it is, it can't be good. It could possibly be the Jubi's chakra simply absorbing my own chakra. Kurama hypothesized. Naruto gained a nervous but also sheepish expression. Yeah, about that, Kurama. You see, Kurama, I rather met the Shinju not too long ago in my mind, and he explained a lot of things to me. Naruto began as he told Kurama everything the Shinju told him, explaining the meeting with the Shinju and everything that transpired to his surrogate brother. Kurama's jaw dropped to the ground, mostly information he just heard from Naruto he didn't even know. So let me see if I got this correct. You're telling me is the Shinju and Jubi are 2 completely separate beings altogether. The Shinju is a primordial god, while the Jubi is the mother of my creator Kagaya Otsutsuki? In addition, the Shinju wants to make you into a primordial god, aka his heir. And he was only absorbing our chakra in order to restore his own power. Did I get everything right, Naruto? Kurama said in a creepy calm tone of voice. Naruto cocked an eyebrow. Yeah, that's most of it more or less, and why you so freaking calm right now? Naruto said while pointing a finger at the giant fox. Kurama gave a hollow chuckle. Heh. I'm far from calm, Kit. I honestly don't know what to think at this point. If what you said is true, then you've got the most powerful being on your side. But if he's lying and he gets free, you will destroy everything without any effort at all, Kurama said. Before Naruto could even reply, a familiar emotionless voice echoed throughout Naruto's mindscape. You have the right to be wary of me, Kurama. But I have no desire to harm Naruto or you or anyone he holds close to his heart. Both Naruto and Kurama turned to their right as Naruto saw a familiar black humanoid figure with the fabled Rinne Sharingan. Shinju, why are you here? Naruto asked in a surprised/curious tone. I believe that it's time that I introduced myself to Kurama, Shinju spoke calmly and emotionlessly. Naruto only made an face before sitting next to his brother. Kurama simply stared at the primordial god before him, since no lies from him or emotion for that fact. He is standing there, yet it's like he doesn't exist. I can't even sense his presence. Kurama thought to himself, mildly surprised. So everything Naruto told me was true? Kurama said as Shinju nodded, which caused Kurama's eyes to narrow further. Then what about me? Am I even irrelevant at this point? With you, here Naruto is practically immortal. The regeneration factor you could offer Naruto is far beyond anything I can do. Plus the power is granted him, the primordial god cut off Kurama, raising his hand. I must stop you there, Kurama, you are not irrelevant. As of right now, Naruto can only utilize my power to a very small degree. He has access to 1/1000 of my actual power. Moreover, yes, it is true the regeneration factor Naruto now has is far greater with me here. However, you are still needed and still very important. Because even with the memories of the other 8 Bijou, the bond that you two share is something I can even begin to comprehend. I've never understood the word friend or friendship. I don't know what love is, nor do I know what it feels like to have a family. This probably will not matter anyways, because when I deem Naruto worthy I shall fuse with him. That will grant him all of my power along with all of my memories. That way he doesn't accidentally blow up the planet, dimension, or galaxy, Shinju explains. Naruto stared at the primordial god, as did Kurama. You also said you're one of the 6 strongest primordial beings? Who were the other 5? Naruto asked while Kurama remained quiet. Shinju simply shrugged his shoulders as he answers. I am the 4th strongest primordial. The 2 primordial under me go by the name of Shinigami, who is number 5 and the weakest out of all of us, who also had her fruit stolen and eaten by Momoshiki and Kinshiki Otsutsuki. Her name is Gaia. She is 5 times weaker than myself. Shinju explained. What about the other 3 you forgot to mention? Kurama asked, curious to find out who the other 3 primordials were. The strongest of all of us, his name is Chaos. He is the creator of the universe itself, the most powerful being in all of the existence. He is so powerful, in fact, he could bring the universe to its end, and with a single snap of his fingers. Behind him is Kami or Izanagi, and then Yami or Izanami. They are both brother and sister. Shinju explained, seeing no problem in telling his host and furry roommate about his family. Naruto had a confused look on his face as Shinju knew the young man wanted to ask a question. Chaos is neither female nor male, but will take the form or a female or male depending on his mood. Often at times Chaos takes the form of both genders, but that is when I see him, the primordial god explained. Kurama only cocked an eyebrow as Naruto had a more confused face than ever, trying to figure out how having both genders works out exactly. He has a little medical knowledge, but he knew it was very rare for someone to be born with both genders. But the whole thing still confused the young man. What sort powers or abilities will Naruto possess after you make my little brother a primordial god? Kurama said as he laid back down as Naruto nodded rapidly, wanting to know too. Shinju nodded as the being that predates time itself decided to give his heir a rundown. As primordial deity of life, death, peace, time and space, Sasura, nature, energy, elements, creation, destruction, and balance, you will have absolute control over those very concepts. The most common abilities you will have are immortality/absolute immorality/amorality, as nothing can truly kill you no matter how powerful that being is. Shinju said as Naruto's jaw dropped and Kurama had a very surprised look. You will become the embodiment of all life, death, peace, time and space, Sasura, nature, energy, elements, creation, destruction, and balance. You are all these things and these things are you. You will be able to control everything and anything whether they are direct and or indirect. Every single form of energy or elements are at your whim. You will also have control over the strongest and most powerful force in all of creation. The primordial force will grant you other abilities other than giving you unlimited power and transcend any and all limitations, Shinju said in a bored and emotionless tone. Naruto's eyes rolled to the back of his head and passed out as Kurama only could sit there stupefied. Shinju blinked his single eye as he shook his head. He should have saved that reaction for when he hears the powers of the Rinne Sharingan, Shinju said with a sigh. Kurama looked towards the primordial god with a curious look. Shinju seemed to notice this as the lone eye looked towards the fragment. Rinne Sharingan? Is not used to create infinite Tsukuyomi? Kurama asked in a confused tone. Originally he believed the Jubi's eye, aka the Rinne Sharingan, could only cast infinite Tsukuyomi, and nothing more. Shinju glared at the giant fox who shivered at the vibes he was getting from the ancient god. Shinju's glare soon vanished as they heard Naruto groaning as appears he had finally regained consciousness. Good, you're awake, now I can begin explaining about the Rinne Sharingan. And you will not faint until I'm done, do I make myself clear, Naruto? Shinju spoke in a strict time as Naruto nodded. Shinju crossed his arms as he hopped into the air, crossing his legs and began to float above the spot he once stood. The Rinne Sharingan itself is my dojutsu, as well as the first and most powerful dojutsu. Kagaya was able to develop a lesser variance of my Rinne Sharingan. The first thing you gain from these eyes is the ability to see chakra in every single detail possible, much like all the other dojutsu. You can see chakra points plus the chakra network, protect your opponent's movements, gain split vision if you use Kage Bunshins, see barriers, and see into the world of limbo. Those are just the basic abilities. As for more advanced abilities you can utilizing every dojutsu including the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Byakugan, Rinnegan Jutsu or abilities. With no drawbacks or repercussions, and you will never lose your eyesight. Shinju paused as Naruto's jaw dropped. Kurama was too speechless for words. You also gain access to the Rinne Sharingan abilities. The first one allows you to not only create but teleport yourself to alternate dimensions. You can also open up rifts in space and time, as you can also manipulate space and time separately. You can also summon spirits from the afterlife, although you may want to be careful you bring back for a chat. Shinju finished explaining. Naruto simply stared at the primordial god. He tried to speak but he was unable to. Kurama noticed what Naruto probably wanted to ask. I think you broke him. Anyways, how and when will he awaken the Rinne Sharingan? Kurama asked curiously as Naruto nodded. My eyes will only be awakened once he gains my power, so his eyes will not evolve beyond the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, until I make him into a primordial god. It's more or less for his own safety because if you don't have the sufficient amount of power, the Rinne Sharingan will kill you from just turning them on. Naruto nodded as his respect for the Shinju increased. Kurama nodded, closing his eyes for a second. I can only assume that Kagaya did not gain Mangekyo or the Rinnegan's abilities. Shinju nodded. So what did she get? Wait, you didn't say anything about the infinite Tsukuyomi? Naruto asked in a confused tone. Shinju just held an impassive face knowing this question was coming. The infinite Tsukuyomi is a technique of her own creation. Unfortunately, when she created this it prevented her from utilizing the ability to use space or time separately, as well as summon the souls from the Pure Land. She did gain the ability to open up rifts in space and time and create and teleport to alternate dimensions. However, she was unable to teleport outside of our home dimension. What Obito did was a forbidden technique even among the deities excluding the primordial deities. At the price of the user's life they can open up the dimensional portal and send you anywhere. Naruto simply looked down at his reflection in the water as he clenched his fists tightly. Why do things have to be so complicated? Naruto whined as he began pulling on his hair. Kurama grinned at his host/brother's behavior, while Shinju simply smirked like he was amused. Oh yeah, now that you're both here, you think I should tell Kairiki or Kyomi or even Amaterasu about you, Shinju? Naruto asked. I trust both Kairiki and Kyomi as I gotten to know them well enough. Therefore, I don't mind you telling them. As for Amaterasu, I don't know her well enough. So I would hold off on telling her from the time being. Kurama answered first while Shinju nodded. Kurama is correct, Naruto, you can tell those two but not anyone else. At the moment wouldn't be a wise idea as you haven't become my successor fully. When the time is right you can tell the others, but as of right now you can only tell your lover and Kyomi. Shinju said calmly. Naruto nodded before he felt his consciousness leaving his mindscape. He could hear Kairiki calling him like a faint whisper calling out to him. Well, I'll see you guys later, bye, Naruto said while he waved goodbye to his two tenants. Shinju closed his single eye, feeling Kurama gaze on him. You are hiding something, aren't you? When the time comes, Naruto will have to meet the other primordial deities, Shinju said calmly as Kurama only raised a single eyebrow. Bedroom. With a small groan, Naruto's eyes snapped open, taking in his surroundings once more. However, an extremely beautiful queen of vampires was sitting on her knees. The comforter only covered her waist. Naruto's eyes are drawn to Kairiki's massive gravity-defying breasts. Her skin was deathly white, her were hard and light purple. The blue shade of lipstick she wore her long wavy black hair. She was absolutely beautiful, and it still amazed the Uzumaki. Naruto always said she was even more beautiful than Kyomi or Amaterasu. Naruto spoils Kairiki ever since they started their relationship. Moreover, Kairiki absolutely loved being spoiled by her Uzumaki lover. However, the thing that truly captured Naruto was her eyes, the black sclerae complemented by bright neon pink irises that seemed to glow in the dark. Naruto-kun, I've been trying to wake you up for the last 5 minutes? Is something wrong, Koi? Kairiki asked in a concerned tone of voice for her lover. Naruto had a nervous expression on his face, as he scratched his left cheek sheepishly. Sorry about that, Kairiki-heim, where are we anyways? Naruto asked curiously, as he had no idea where he currently was. Kairiki merely raised a delicate eyebrow. Well, we're currently in my castle, and you're also in my room as well. You're currently in vampire capital of Makai, you're not in the human world right now. Kairiki explained as Naruto's eyes widened. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. None of the other vampires would dare touch you. My scent and essence is all over you. If another vampire were to touch you, then would have to fight me to the death for you. And since I'm currently the strongest vampire alive, although Akasha and Alucard are currently tied for second place, and in third place is Sarah's Victoria, Alucard's wife. Kairiki spoke in a professional lecturing tone. Naruto raised an eyebrow. The Alucard was simply Dracula spelled backwards. Oi, Kairiki-heim? It's Alucard, Dracula spelled backwards? Naruto asked curiously, as Kairiki gained a slightly amused look on her face. Yes, that was indeed his original name before I dethroned him, that was some 300 years ago. Just like me, Alucard or Dracula, we are the only two transcendent vampires. In simple terms, we're gods among vampires as we both possess enough power to challenge them as well. Akasha is of the Shinso variance of vampire, which is nearly on par with a transcendent vampire. Kairiki explained further as Naruto made an O face. Now, Naruto-kun, is something you're not telling me. We've been together for nearly 3 years. And I know when you're hiding something, because there's a slight twitch under your left eye. Kairiki informed Naruto, who simply stared at her with a look of disbelief. Naruto sighed in defeat as he already planned to tell you this, but he wanted to tell both her and Kyomi at the same time. Kairiki-heim, what I'm about to tell you does not leave this room. The only other person you can tell is Kyomi for now. Kurama doesn't trust Ami-chan enough yet. Naruto said in a deadly serious tone that Kairiki complied with her lover's wishes as she never seen him this serious before. Give or take the times he confessed all his feelings for her. But that was something different than this. Not too long ago within my mind I met the Shinju is a primordial god from my world. In addition, he told me that I'm going to be his successor. Therefore, when he deems me ready he is going to turn me into a primordial god. If you still want to, you can still turn me into a vampire. I guess I really have nothing against you turning me in the first place. Naruto said before trying to remember all the abilities Shinju told him about. Shinju also told me that I'll become a primordial deity of life, death, peace, time and space, Sasra, nature, energy, elements, creation, destruction, and balance, Naruto explained. Kairiki was sporting a very serious expression, She can tell by Naruto's soft tone that he was serious. The look in his eyes told her that he was being completely honest. Closing her eyes as she only could sigh. Koi, what am I going to do with you, whether you're human, vampire, or primordial god? None of those things matter to me. What really matters is that you will always stay the same blonde-haired knucklehead I fell in love with. Kairiki said in as she smiled before leaning forward and gently placing her lips on Naruto's. Naruto's eyes widened for a second before closing before deepening the kiss. Naruto soon felt her arms wrap around his neck as she was now straddling him. Naruto grabbed a hold of her round and firm but giving a gentle squeeze. Naruto felt Kairiki's tongue gently tapping against his lips and being the generous man. Naruto allowed her tongue entry to his mouth. The moment Kairiki's tongue entered into his mouth started a battle in between the two tongues fighting for dominance, which Kairiki won display their dominance. Kairiki pulled back from the kiss, with strings of saliva connected to either one of their mouths. Koi, do you mind if I? Naruto cut her off as he nodded. Kairiki-hime, I've already told you, you can drink my blood, just don't suck me dry, Naruto said with an amused expression on his face. Kairiki smiled lovingly as she nodded and leaned forward down to her lover's neck, biting down his neck as gently as she possibly could. Naruto groaned at the slight pressure where his neck made his shoulder. Kairiki was considerate of Naruto, as she only took a small amount of blood. She had done this multiple times during his training trip with a pervert Jiraiya. However, she could ever get enough of her lover's delicious blood. He was her drug, ever so intoxicating and addictive. Kairiki herself had to hold back her primal desires of fucking Naruto senseless so she could carry his baby inside her. That thought alone always sent shivers down her spine. Kairiki lets go of Naruto, before letting the wound as the two puncture marks closed up. Looking deeply into her bright neon pink eyes, Naruto could no longer fight the primal urge to claim her, and judging by her facial expression neither could she. Gently and efficiently, she laid Naruto down on the bed, as a seductive smirk spread across her face. She got on top of him with her ass over Naruto's head with her womanhood hovering above his face. Kairiki gripped his erection, and without warning, she began to plant kisses and soft gentle licks on it. Naruto gasped at this interaction, which she let out a low growl as she enveloped his with her mouth. Naruto released a grunt, but then spread Kairiki's vaginal lips wide open as he hungrily eyed her womanhood, a slow lick which caused her to moan lowly. Naruto gave a devilish smirk as he put his tongue into her vagina and proceeded to move in a circular motion. Kairiki gasped before a seductive smile appeared on her face. Kairiki's fang lengthened as her more succubus-like nature started to show. Two can play this game, Naruto-kun, Kairiki thought to herself before she enveloped his with her large breasts. Naruto released a low groan as he clearly felt a jolt of electricity running through his body. Kairiki giggled at his reaction, as she slowly brought her boobs and slowly brought them down, making him shiver. Her speed only increased while taking pleasure in seeing Naruto shiver and groan. You like that, Naruto-kun? As she giggled, enjoying bring pleasure to the man she loved beyond all logic and reason. Naruto groaned again as he fought against the urge to release. Unfortunately, for Kairiki, a mischievous look appeared in Naruto's eyes. Naruto brought his index and middle fingers together, and removed his tongue from her womanhood that resulted in Kairiki groaning in disappointment. Naruto proceeded to ram his fingers directly into Kairiki's starving vagina, which resulted in a loud wanton-like moan. Naruto began to pump his fingers into her, as he teased her clit with his tongue. By all means, Kairiki-hime, you can go first. Kairiki narrowed her eyes. That's not fair, stop teasing me, the queen yelled as she groaned and continued the assault on Naruto's manhood. You're one to talk, Naruto fired back with a naughty smirk etched on his features. They continued their ministrations until Naruto felt an intense feeling building up inside of him. Kairiki-hime, I'm going to come, I can't hold it anymore. Kairiki answered while she continued playing with him. You're not the only one, Naruto-kun. So go ahead and release your seed, Naruto-kun. She answered before she returned to sucking his member, as he returned to eating her out. Damn. F-fag. Naruto-kun. They both came at the same time. Naruto shot off a blast of semen, while Kairiki's juices escaped her pussy. Naruto immediately drank up her juices, while the vampire queen sucked him completely dry. Oh, so hot and warm. It's so delicious too, you're a naughty boy. Naruto-kun, I never knew you would play dirty, Kairiki said as she given her lover a sultry smirk. You caused me to be so dirty and naughty in bed, Naruto pointed out with a smirk. Kairiki got off Naruto as she sat before him. Naruto gazed at her breasts, the heavenly mounds of flesh before him. Kairiki giggled and began to play with her large breasts. Go ahead, Naruto-kun. I know you want them. Naruto's mind was on autopilot. Without even thinking, he tackled Kairiki down on the bed and started to suck on her breasts. Kairiki moaned but smiled at the attention her blonde-haired lover was giving her breasts. Within Naruto's left hand, he gently squeezed and bounced her left breast, as he sucked on the right breast. His tongue was swirling around the tip of her as he sucked on it. This caused Kairiki to moan even more. Naruto continued this before alternating not wanting to show one breast more attention than the other. The blush on Kairiki's face only became deeper, as the expression on her face became a lustful smile. "Oh Naruto-koi, you're very good at this, you're acting just like a baby." Naruto immediately stopped sucking her breasts, as he looked directly at her. "It's not like I can help it. Your breasts are amazing," Naruto replied. Kairiki's lustful grin only increased. "That's good to hear this. No more warm-ups, give yourself to me," Kairiki answered lustfully, surprising Naruto at the changing in her demeanor before shaking his head as he smirked. "I guess I really flipped her switch, huh?" Naruto thought to himself. To his surprise, however, Kairiki once again pinned him down to the bed. Before feeding his to her very hungry yet dripping wet pussy, Kairiki could only moan in ecstasy as her lover filled her every inch, only spreading her most sacred place. Naruto completely always reshapes her pussy and insides to fit him only. Naruto's eyes widened when he felt her insides becoming colder and colder by the second. No matter how many times he did it with her, it never got old. She was always tight, and every time they would go at it until they both passed out. The drop-dead gorgeous queen of vampires began to bounce up and down on Naruto as her breast bounced or jiggled with her movements. The cold from within her inner walls increased greatly as a jolt of electricity surged through both Kairiki and Naruto. At this point, Kairiki began slamming down on Naruto repeatedly. Her moans and screams only increased as Naruto's manhood pierced her deepest parts. It didn't help every time Kairiki slammed down, Naruto's cock hit her G-spot, sending the queen higher and higher. Naruto gritted his teeth as he released another pleasure-filled groan. "Uh-huh, that's it. Oh, fuck me, baby. Fuck your slutty vampire queen. That's it, Naruto-kun. Give it to me more, baby. Oh, fuck, yes, oh fuck." Kairiki cried out as her tongue rolled out to the side of her mouth, and her eyes rolled slightly to the back of her head. Naruto met with Kairiki's rubbing as both lovers created a rhythm. Naruto slammed her cock into his lover hard as her head flew back. Fuck Naruto-koi, you're so deep. Yes, oh baby. I want your baby inside me. Make me a mommy koi." Kaiotiki screamed loud enough for the whole castle to hear her moans. "Oh baby, I am going to come," Kairiki screamed. "Me too, Koriki-hime. I can't hold it anymore," Naruto replied to her as the vampire queen and shinobi slammed into each other one last time. This resulted in Naruto releasing a large burst of semen, which shot deep into her womb, filling the queen to the brim. With her womb and insides painted white, Kairiki released her tightened grip on Naruto as the orgasm higher was lasting and lingering. Kairiki twitches each time Naruto's cock pumped more baby-making batter into her womb. Soon Kairiki fell on top of Naruto as instinct started to take over the queen's mind. Bring Naruto in close, and her eyes glowing a bright neon pink, Kairiki bit into her lover's neck. This time, blood from her mouth mixed with the new blood her lover. Keeping their naked bodies close, Naruto could feel his orgasm taper off. Darkness took hold of him gently, much like her lover holding him now. Fading away into the shadows of his being, Naruto felt an overwhelming amount of pleasure and pain. But the pure amount of pleasure numbed everything Naruto was feeling. As the lovers grasped each other tightly, their wedding vows made from blood, passion, love, lust, and loyalty. When they woke up, they would be husband and wife. And until the end of time, they will be together. A queen has finally found her king. Konoha, underground bunker. Jiraiya was currently rolling out that Toad summoning contract to reverse summon the Jinchuriki and former Yondaime Hokage. All the while Jiraiya was trying to piece things together in his own mind. He wanted to know how Naruto, a dim-witted individual, was able to break into a high-security area all the while without tipping anyone off. Kushina stood off to the side with a look of disbelief on her face. "Jiraiya, why haven't you done this in the first place?" Kushina asked in an annoyed tone of voice. To which Jiraiya only shot a glare at the red-headed. "Oh, I'm sorry, I was recovering in the hospital after nearly beaten to death, and I'm terribly sorry that I wasn't able to reverse summon Naruto back to Konoha," Jiraiya spoke in a mocking tone, which he instantly shut up when Kushina glared at him. But she didn't deny it, as it was her fault too to why he couldn't do anything for nearly the past week. Something was not right with her. She was kept her left hand wrapped in bandages. In addition, her bandage and would often bleed a lot. In a thick, potent, Red aura would occasionally leak out of it. Jiraiya could only wonder what that thing was. Whatever she has wrapped and was bandages, its aura is 3 times more potent than the Kyuubi no Yoko's chakra. Jiraiya thought to himself. Tsunade and the clone of Minato stood off to the side, quiet, observing, ready for when Naruto or Minato. Both of them have ordered by Kushina to restrain them and place loyalty seals all over Naruto or Minato. Jiraiya began weaving through hand seals before slamming his hand into the center circle of the reverse summoning scroll. They waited and yet nothing happened. Jiraiya's eyes widened greatly in shock before performing the jutsu many times. However, each time Jiraiya performed the jutsu, he only ended up burning chakra and failing. Jiraiya, why isn't the little demon appearing? Kushina spoke in an angry tone of voice. I don't know, let me check the summoning contract scroll, Jiraiya said before pulling the scroll that he carried around off his back. Unrolling the scroll, Jiraiya noticed something horrifying. Both Naruto and Minato's names are not on the scroll. What? This shouldn't even be possible. There are only 2 ways to remove one's name from a summoning scroll. Jiraiya began to think before Kushina yelled at him again. Jiraiya, why isn't that little demon or that pathetic excuse of a Hokage being summoned here? Kushina yelled again, this time with more fear in her voice. Tsunade's eyes widened slightly at the voice of fear in Kushina's voice. Why was she sounded so scared for a moment? Jiraiya gulped nervously, knowing this wasn't going to end well. The names and then removed from that toad summoning contract, either which that means both are dead or they removed their names from the contract itself. I don't understand, I would have been notified if they removed their names. Jiraiya spoke in a frightening tone as Kushina began cracking her knuckles again. A few minutes later, and one severely beaten Jiraiya on the ground, Kushina was rubbing her forehead, releasing annoyed groans. Tsunade, can you please put together a search party and find out if they're actually dead or not? You know I have the money to pay for, Kushina mumbled as she gestured for Minato's clone to come with her, as she needed to releasing stress. Moreover, when she means stress, she was going to fuck the clone of Minato until she blacked out from pleasure. But the clones would soon be useless without the original. Tsunade nodded before dragging Jiraiya out of the bunker and dropping him off at the hospital. Hokage Mansion. Tsunade sat behind her desk as she looked at the 8 able-bodied shinobi before her. Kakashi, Guy, Sasuke, Sakura, Lee, Tenten, Niji, and Hinata all stood before her. Do you know why I brought you 8 here? Tsunade announced in a clear and professional tone. No, Hokage-sama, but whatever it is, it must be important. Guy howled out, much to the dismay of everyone in the room. Yes, you see, Naruto has gone missing, and we need you 8 to find him and bring him back, Tsunade announced as everyone's facial expressions changed. Sasuke and Sakura both looked equally surprised. Why would Naruto go missing? What happened to him? Kakashi, on the other hand, had a different expression. Could he have possibly found out about Kushina-sama? The one-eyed silver scarecrow thought. Team 9 was extremely surprised. What could have happened to the blonde who is full of such life and energy? In addition, Hinata had an annoyed and yet surprised expression on her face. How could her boy toy up and leave? Hokage-sama, you want us to go find out if he's alive or dead and bring him back? Kakashi asked in a professional tone. Tsunade nodded. I want him back. If he's alive, I don't care how much force you have to use, I want him back alive. If he is dead still, then still him back. That way we can give them a proper burial. Tsunade lied at the very end. When you want us to leave, Hokage-sama? Guy spoke in his indoor voice for once. Tsunade looked grateful that he didn't yell this time. As soon as possible, please, Tsunade announced as the 8 shinobi left her sight. Tsunade sighed as she leaned back in her chair. Gaki, wherever you are, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble when you get back here. Tsunade thought herself before she pulled out a bottle of sake and proceeded to chug the bottle. Kayariki's room. Naruto groaned, opening his eyes, and surprisingly he can see perfectly in the darkness. He couldn't see this well when he had his Sharingan activated. Having the dojutsu for so long, Naruto has known the capabilities of the dojutsu. Night vision isn't one of the gifts the Sharingan has. Turning to his left, Kairiki was soundly sleeping, all the while looking stunning as ever. With his newer senses, Naruto smelled an overwhelming amount of pheromones and sex lingering in the air. Blushing, the newborn vampire shook off the lust best he could. Gently reaching out, he began to shake her, which she ground. Just 5 more minutes, Hahayui, she mumbled in her sleep, which Naruto cocked an eyebrow at the fact that she called and mother in a respectful manner. Shrugging off, Naruto began to shake her a bit more. Okay, I'm up, she grumbled before sitting up and stretching. Rubbing her eyes, she looked towards Naruto. Her eyes widened in surprise. I'm honestly surprised that the transformation didn't take that long. It usually takes a couple of days, but what you would only take a few hours. But then again, you have a primordial entity living inside of you along with Kurama. Kayariki spoke in a slightly confused but yet happy tone. Transformation? Oh, she must have turned me into a vampire. Naruto thought to himself, and most likely Shinju and Kurama must have sped up the process. Kayariki conjured up with crystal near before handing it to Naruto, who looked at his new appearance. There weren't too many differences with his features other than the fact his skin was deathly white, and the fact that he had black sclera along with his sapphire blue eyes having a black slit for a pupil. His hair didn't change color, although he felt much stronger and yet extremely light, as if he weighed less. The newborn vampire felt amazing, like he could take on armies without feeling tired or worrying about being harmed. It was otherworldly becoming a vampire. Then something struck Naruto that made him cry anime-style tears. He just remembered one major letdown that becoming a vampire would have. I can't have ramen anymore. Damn it, why is the world so unfair? Naruto thought as his lover blinked confusedly. Koi! What's the matter, is something wrong? Kayariki asked in a concerned tone in her voice, which is also reflected in her facial expression perfectly. In between the sobs of despair, Naruto wailed out, I can't eat ramen anymore. Kayariki stared, blinked confused as the words her lover just said baffled her. Looking at her lover before giggling while she's shaking her head. Calm down, Naruto-koi, you can still eat ramen. You see, just like me, you are a transcendent vampire, which means you can eat anything you want. But you must consume an equal amount of blood to whatever food you eat in order to maintain your overwhelming power. Kayariki explained. But most vampires can eat food just small amounts. You're lucky that you're transcending vampire. Kayariki spoke with a grin as she notices Naruto's demeanor did a nearly 180 flip. Naruto gave a sigh of relief. He didn't have to give up his precious ramen. Kurama was simply laughing at his brother's behavior, while Shinju simply blinked. Kayariki got out of bed and walked over to her walk-in closet. No more than 2 minutes later, she came out in a beautiful black silk dress. Her hair is in a high fancy style ponytail with gems and some kinda crown that made up the whole headpiece. She also wore some fancy jewelry that must have cost a small fortune to make. Naruto-kun, Ami-chan made some clothes for you. She just sent them a few days ago after getting your measurements. They are on the end table, your weapon rack. After you get dressed, I will lead you to the dining room and explain your abilities as a transcendent vampire. There you can eat some breakfast and drink some blood before I send you off to meet Ami-chan, as she said she had a mission for you. Kayariki instructed as Naruto nodded in understanding as he went to put on his newer outfit. Kayariki all the while enjoyed the nude display of her lover/husband. It didn't take Naruto long to get dressed. He would definitely have to thank Amaterasu for the clothes. They were much better improvement, and he swore he saw fuinjutsu all over the newer outfit. Though the seals were barely noticeable and blended in with the fabric wonderfully. He was currently wearing a black armor mesh shirt under his black ankle-length ceremonial kimono. Keeping his ceremonial kimono closed is a long flowing crimson-red silk sash. Over the ceremonial kimono, Naruto wore an also burnt orange with black flames licking the bottom of his haori. Naruto is also currently wearing black hakama that allowed for much more movement and freedom in his movements. Naruto traded in his shinobi combat and boots for more sleek-looking combat boots that reminded Kayariki of the Deyokai Inuteisho. Naruto's entire outfit was made from the finest and strongest silk any mortal or deity could get their hands on. Naruto also looked rather dashing in his newer outfit. Kayariki smiled as she liked Naruto's new look before gesturing for him to follow her to the dining room. Naruto followed his wife to the dining room. There Naruto learned from his wife all his newer powers and abilities he would have to train in. Learning the vampire arts and magic, in general, was going to be fun for the young vampire. From his newfound godly strength to his other amazing abilities that Kayariki promised to train him in. The new transcendent vampire looked like a kid whom just gotten a new toy. Naruto was excited and in awe about all the abilities he would have to learn and train correctly in. Amigekure. It had been 6 days since Amaterasu extracted Kiyomi and Kayariki from Naruto. And in those 6 days Minato was recovering from the removal of the seal's place on him and current. Why getting back into shape? Right now Minato was currently being acquainted with the area but learning the land, its people, and how it's governed. He was nearly back at 100% thanks to Amarasu's aid and the fact many of the other shinobi here were quick to aid the former Hokage to get back into shape. Even that crazy woman Mikasa helped Minato much to the single father's dismay, but he still welcomed it. Surprisingly, Minato gets along with most of the members of the Akatsuki, such as Nagato, Kanan, and Yahiko, who is Konan's husband. Minato was surprised when his surrogate nephew Itachi came barreling into his recovery room asking him a million questions. It was good to catch up to the former Umbu captain. There are only 8 members of the Akatsuki in total: Amaterasu the leader, Tsukuyumi second in command, Susanoo the enforcer, Nagato the CEO, Yahiko taijutsu specialist, Kanan head of security, Itachi head of interrogation, and finally Mikasa, who is Susanoo's estranged girlfriend, and also their main field operative. They were all very good people, but as a loving father, Minato's main concern was the safety of his son. When Minato found out that Amaterasu offered his son a place in a criminal organization, at first he was both greatly worried and a bit angry. However, soon afterwards he found out the reason Amaterasu started the Akatsuki. She started this organization in order to maintain balance in the human world, as the gods lost all interest in this world. Moreover, in order to create balance they needed to free the 9 bijus from their containers. Amaterasu is not cruel and would never kill someone unless she absolutely had to. Minato's respect for the former sun goddess began to grow. As the hours passed, Minato spent most of the time eating, resting, and training, trying to get back in shape as fast as possible. He wasn't skin and bones thankfully when he was freed, and he had some muscle. But he lost a lot of muscle mass, and he needed to eat healthier food for the next month before he could even think of having a candy bar. Which sucked for Minato cause he had a sweet tooth along with a small ramen addiction. Amaterasu-sama, do you have any word on how my son is doing? Minato asked the former goddess in a polite tone. Though if anyone else was in the room they would have heard the underlying concern and worry for his son's safety. Amaterasu smiled and nodded. Yes, he should be on his way here since shortly. As you know, I've offered him a place in the Akatsuki. I would like to offer you the same when you feel ready, Amaterasu said politely, looking at the loving father with a calm look. For all that you've done for me and my son, it's the least I can do for you, Amaterasu-sama, the former Yondaime Hokage said as he bowed his head to Amaterasu, waved him off. There's no need for you to be so formal with me, Minato. Anyways, I have a meeting with Shizuka, a very powerful kunoichi and the current leader of the Nadeshiko village. Would you like to accompany me there? Amaterasu asked as Minato nodded. Not even 2 seconds later, a pillar of darkness shot up from the ground, revealing Naruto in all of his vampiric glory. Amaterasu had already informed Minato ahead of time that Kairiki was going to turn Naruto into a vampire, but was still surprised at the godly powerful aura Naruto had. It even surpassed Kairiki's powerful aura nearly 4 times over. At first, Minato didn't like the idea until he found out how much his son actually loved the queen of all vampires. But still, doesn't mean he won't protect his son. He did give the queen of vampires a menacing glare that promised unworldly or ungodly pain if she even so much caused his son pain. Her blood would be painting the walls. Still, he backed off, as he wanted his son to be happy, so he allowed it. Naruto groaned slightly at the bright sunlight, before shaking off the discomforting feeling. Ami-chan, I would like to thank you for the clothes you prepared for me. Kairiki Haim said you had a mission for me? Naruto asked as he spotted his old man. Minato smirked and greeted his son with a wave, who replied in kind. Amaterasu smirked. She preferred being called Ami-chan to Amaterasu-sama any day. Yes, I have a mission for you. I need you to go to Sunigakure with Itachi and Nagato to set up a meeting between me and their current Kazekage Gaara. Amaterasu asked. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why do you want us to set up an appointment with him? Naruto asked curiously as Amaterasu sighed. The main reason why I'm asking this is because he is the Kazekage. You, on the other hand, had both Kyomi and Kairiki sealed within you, so we targeted you first. And I was positive that they both would inform you that Susanoo wouldn't harm you and hopefully that you would go with him. Amaterasu explained while Naruto nodded. So when am I leaving? The now new vampire king asked as his queen stood beside him. Amaterasu grinned. Immediately. Oh, and when you get back from your mission, I set up an appointment with you and Acnologia. He's interested in meeting you as you wish to learn Ryo Senjutsu,